Good morning, Hockenheim. So we're back for the final day of this event in 2025, and we're talking about the endurance, the all-deciding endurance event, arguably the most important event of the year, the most amount of points. And already we have our first car on track, I'm about to say, as long as UAS Kempten, car number 53, very tentatively coming onto the track. They rolled about 3 meters, but something is going on with the car. Their time is running because they have triggered the beam. Well, I'm not sure if I should say that because I think the beam is a couple of meters away. But still, Kempten seems to be having some issues. So I'm joined here also by my fellow commentators, Matthias and Jegor. And it seems that Kempten is ever so slowly and cautiously joining the track. Our first car is now officially in the endurance. Time is running. Let's hope Kempten can pick up a little bit of speed. I saw the driver making some changes in the cockpit, trying to get the car going. Obviously, there is some kind of issue with the car. This is not their normal speed, I assume. So Jegor, endurance, that's a lot of points on the board. So for any good ranking at the end of the event, this is the one to finish. I'm looking at Kempten. It's quite slow, stuck in limp home mode or whatever. And just to give you listeners a little bit of information, endurance event is 18 laps in total. This is a 1.2 kilometer track. And there will be a driver change halfway through. So after 9 laps, the car will be waved into the driver change area. And the second driver will have to take over. They have 3 minutes to complete the driver change. Normally that should be more than enough. Also from experience, we know that that shouldn't be a problem unless there are some issues with the car, obviously. And they get a 3-minute, well, free time, let's say, to do the driver change and get back on track. And then complete the other 9 laps.
Yes, indeed, Mickey. Unfortunately, you mentioned that the car from Kempten was going very slowly, and they have now stopped completely on the track. And just to give everybody watching along an idea, there is also a certain running order to the cars that will be running today in the endurance, and that is based on the results of the autocross event yesterday. And that is done such that the cars of similar speeds are on track at the same time, and we do not get many situations where one car might slow another one down. Of course, if for whatever reason a car has to run out of order at the end of the event, then there might be quite a bit of speed differentials. We might see a little bit of overtaking action out on the track. But for now, we have, unfortunately, our first DNF car from Kempten. And indeed, as Mickey's pointing out to me, the car from Kempten is actually still going. The track marshal's walking behind it, urging the car on a little bit, trying to push it, will it all the way back at the very least to the dynamic area. So no DNF confirmed for Kempten just yet. And looking at the queue, the next car that should be joining them on track is car number 30 from Kraków. But I'm sure the officials will hold off for a little bit on letting them join the track so we can resolve the situation with the car from Kempten.
Yes, exactly. It's no use sending out another car if immediately there would be a yellow flag waved, obviously, and it would ruin the event for other cars. The total time of the 18 laps completed, that's the time that will count towards the points. Of course, as always, there are also some penalty points today. For any cone hit is a penalty, and also If a car goes off track, that's a penalty. And also if any time over the 3 minutes in the driver change will be added to the total time as well. So the total amount of time will be counted, and the points will be given. Also today is the efficiency event integrated with the endurance. After the completion of the endurance, the energy meters will be read, and the data will be collected by the officials, and also the efficiency score will be determined by them. Also looking at the track, it's a little bit different from the autocross track, obviously, especially the start-finish. But here and there are some changes. We did the track walk this morning. Well, Matthias did the track walk this morning, and we already noticed some changes to the slalom, for example. The slalom has gotten a little bit easier, and the choice is very easy now. Matthias, any updates on that?
Indeed, they removed one, so now you do not have to compromise entry for exit or the other way around. That is nice to see. Maybe it's also beneficial for the marshals that all the cars have at least a consistent line, so also there that makes sense. Some of the corners have been rounded up a little bit, so they are definitely faster and easier to go through, and definitely the last section as well. The last few corners have changed. Yeah, completely is a big word, but it's definitely another line. So I think the drivers will enjoy this, a bit less tight, and we should see some even faster times than yesterday.
And speaking of going faster, Matti, the car from Kempten, whereas before it was going at a pace of a leisurely stroll, you could see the marshals putting in their 10,000 steps for the day. Now it is going more of a pace of a solid jog. The track marshal's not able to keep up anymore. The car is moving back towards the dynamic area, just making its way back into the infield.
Yes, and we're just watching the Kempten car. I think they're going back from jogging to a stroll. Not the reference to the F1 driver stroll. He's even slower. Anyway, if you look carefully at the track, you will see also some blue cones. And the blue cones is in the event that there are faster cars behind you, then the slower car will be given a blue flag, meaning you have to go into the overtaking zone. So the slower car will be going into the overtaking zone, so the faster car can overtake them and not lose a lot of time. This is obviously a student competition, and there's no actual wheel-to-wheel racing. That's just a bit too dangerous. The drivers are not professional, they're also students. And so that's why the organization said, okay, let's have overtaking zones, so the faster cars can continue without having a traffic jam. So yeah, the marshals will be guiding those cars with the appropriate flags. Blue flag at the beginning of the overtaking zone, and a green flag at the end. So we have a number of overtaking zones. I think we have 4, if I count correctly. Yeah, I think we have 4 overtaking zones. But even though these overtaking zones are there, we will see some kind of traffic jams occurring during the day. And as far as I can tell, Kempten has now really come to a standstill. We're just waiting for them to maybe clear the track so we can get the rest of the endurance going. Yeah, and in the end, this event will take us, as I think Diego already mentioned, this reverse order from the autocross. And after that, we will have the endurance for the Historic Cup.
And just looking at the car from Kempten, the driver is shaking forward as hard as they can, trying to get the car to move. I think the issue might be, Mickey, is that the car has so little power that even the small incline in the asphalt that we see over there, the car is struggling to make it up, but the driver is doing their very best to get to the apex of that relative mountain. You already mentioned the green flags and the checkered flags. I think in this case, if the car from Kempten does manage to make it around to the start-finish line, we might also see a meatball flag, which is shown by marshals if the car is driving in a dangerous condition and needs to be put back into the pits. And also, I don't think there is too much risk of it today looking at the skies, but if there is a weather change and it starts raining and the track is declared wet, the marshals may also choose to pull the teams in by showing them either a red flag or a black flag, and then the drivers and the cars will be allowed to change their tires to wet tires. But again, looking out at the sky and at the forecast, not much risk of that happening today. But you know, we live in the Netherlands, we know how quickly the weather can change, so be on the lookout.
Yeah, and also there is also some kind of rule saying if any car that has come to a standstill is given some time to restart the car, may do the Control-Alt-Delete or whatever needs to happen to that car. But that time is not limitless. Usually they give them 1, maybe 2 minutes if there aren't that many cars on track. But after that, it's a disqualification or DNF for that car. Because we have to continue with the endurance, and I think that's what's happening now with the Kempten car. Obviously, very rightly so, they are getting applause from the grandstands. I think they tried. They did everything they could to complete at least 1 lap on the endurance, and this driver was trying desperately to do at least 1 lap, as every driver would do in a race car. We saw that yesterday as well, Yegor. We had cars that were driving with 3 wheels, and the driver was trying to carry on and complete the lap. I think it's a DNA of a driver to bring the car home at least and see the checkered flag. Yeah. But yeah, in this case it was 18 laps. Managed to do half a lap. Kempten car, 18 laps is probably just impossible.
No, indeed, not quite the DNA, but a DNF for Kempten. And the car you mentioned from yesterday, Mickey, that was driving around trying desperately to get back, that was the entrant from Kiel. I am wondering whether the team will elect to allow their driver to drive in the endurance today as well. But as we talk about them, we have car number 30 from Krakow setting off on their endurance run. Not looking blisteringly fast, but already moving quite a bit faster than Kempten, so hopefully more reliability in store from them.
Yes, and our little spies tell us that this team from Krakow was on the practice area for a long time, last couple of days, trying to debug everything and trying to fix the car. So also putting a lot of effort in to be able to compete in the endurance. They were in the autocross, but very, very late, and I don't think they actually managed to put it on time. The car stopped, I think, unfortunately, before the end. But now they're back. Hopefully they had a successful night in getting all the gremlins out of the car, and let's see how well they can do on this endurance event. 18 laps, each of the laps being 1.2 kilometers is a long way. For these cars, you have to have battery management, regenerative braking, so to have enough power to finish it to the end. But yeah, well, let's see how Krakow will do. In the meantime, we have the next car from Pisa. I'm not sure we've seen this car earlier. We have, okay, maybe I was just sleeping. But University of Pisa, car number 121, also waiting to join the track. I think the marshals will just assess the situation with Krakow. If the car seems to be going well, I'm pretty sure they will let out Pisa, and in fact that's what's happening now. University of Pisa on track.
Yeah, it's going at a similar pace to the car from Krakow, but I'm just looking over at the queue, Mickey, and coming up next is car number 63 from Trondheim. It is one of the fastest cars we've seen at the competition this year. Unfortunately, not one of the most reliable. They weren't able to set a competitive time in the autocross yesterday, which is why we see them running so early in the endurance today. Hopefully whatever gremlins were in the system, they will be able to figure out, and have been able to figure out, as Krakow finishes their first lap.
Yeah, Trondheim was one of the cars that stopped like every half a lap for some reason. And yeah, we were at a certain point in time we lost them. We were saying, "Where's Trondheim? We're missing Trondheim. Where's the car? Help! OMG!" But yeah, they're here now. Let's hope, just like the other teams, they manage to solve all the problems and be able to complete the endurance. Looking at yesterday, we had a pretty high attrition rate. even on the autocross, which is 1 or 2 laps. So if that trend will hold today, then we will see a lot of DNFs. But obviously, we hope that every team manages to finish it, because in the end, this is the most important event. And Trondheim is on track and already very, very fast, especially compared to the other cars on track. But yeah, let's hope they can put in a couple of decent laps.
And I'm just checking to see, they were in fact able to put in one valid time yesterday in the autocross. It was a 119.7, so quite a bit off the pace of some of the faster teams. But we do see already Trondheim moving considerably faster than the cars from Pisa and from Kraków. So I think we will be seeing some blue flags very, very soon. Meanwhile, Pisa coming around and completing nearly their first lap of the endurance event. And going at a very similar pace to Kraków. Kraków with a 126.2 and Pisa with a 123.5.
Yeah, Trondheim looking pretty fast. I think they are easily 20, maybe even 30 seconds faster than the other cars. So pretty sure in a couple of moments we will see an example, the first overtaking situation on track. And I think Trondheim is just a little bit out of luck, because now they have to wait quite a long time behind Kraków to get to an overtaking zone. I think the one overtaking zone just on the Ravenel curve might be the ideal situation if the car is getting the blue flag. Yeah, I think the car pulled in. There you go. Nice example of an overtaking. How it should be done quickly and safely.
And you were saying, Mickey, you thought Trondheim would be 20 to 30 seconds faster. They are in fact 40 seconds ahead of both the entrance from Kraków and from Pisa. But just as we say that, the entry from Pisa does seem to have stopped on the track, just on the transition back into the infield. Yellow flags are being waved. Of course, unlike the autocross event, there are no reruns with endurance. If you see a yellow flag, it's just an unlucky situation. You do have to slow down a little bit. But of course, safety comes first.
And unfortunately, already it has been confirmed that car 121 from Pisa is a DNF and did not finish. It was quite a quick confirmation, meaning that the driver indicated there's something seriously wrong with the car. So the car is being pushed away by the marshals. So unfortunately, we have already our second DNF of the day, which is University from Pisa.
Yes, and let's see whether the officials will choose to replace the car from Pisa with another. Currently first in line is car number 161 from HAWK Göttingen. However, they're not yet allowed to approach the starting line, so the officials are just taking their time to make some final preparations. The car from Revolve NTNU just coming around to complete their third lap. They're just going into the slingshot and out onto the back straight. I think they had no obstructions on this lap, Mickey, and have they managed to improve their best time?
Yeah, but quite significantly as well. I think the first two laps the driver was just, well, maybe using it as a shakedown for the car after all the gremlins they had yesterday, but already it's a 74.8 second lap, so that's actually pretty fast. We saw endurance times which were obviously a little bit faster in the 70.8 in the end. But yeah, I think we have another car on track, as Diego is pointing out. HAWK Göttingen entering the battle.
HAWK Göttingen also going with a more tentative approach. I'm sure the team are trying to make sure that the car is reliable enough to get all the way to the end of the endurance. which of course, as you said, Mickey, is much more important than going quickly. It's more important to finish.
Yeah, and obviously the total time matters. So the faster you can go, the better. But you also have to remember these cars have batteries, and batteries do have a tendency to get depleted if you go too fast. So a lot of times these drivers have to manage the battery situation just a little bit. If I'm looking at another fastest time from Trondheim, even faster, 72.9, which is wow, that's pretty quick. And but the driver usually has to manage the battery, even though some of the energy, about 40%, is regenerated. Well, depending on the car, obviously. But yeah, I see it, Jegor. If we see the car from Krakow stopping just in the overtaking lane, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it seems that they got a yellow flag, sorry, a blue flag again to allow the car from Trondheim, car number 63, to overtake. But unfortunately, we're unable to get going again so far. Let's hope they manage to keep driving.
Yeah, already have a confirmation for DNF for car number 30 from Krakow. We have a little radio here next beside us, tuned in to the Dynamics channel. So we have a bit more information that we can relay to you as well. Unfortunately, that's already our third DNF of today.
No, indeed. We've had 5 cars driving so far, and unfortunately 3 of them have already not finished. Of course, the cars that are going now early are the cars that might have had already some reliability issues yesterday in the autocross. So it's not too surprising, unfortunately. And of course, endurance is the toughest event of the entire FSG discipline list. As we see now the car from Trondheim catching up to Göttingen. Göttingen getting the blue flag, driver pulling out of the way and allowing Revolve to go by.
Yeah, unfortunately the previous blue overtaking zone was taken by Krakow, so they couldn't use that. So they were stuck behind HAWK Göttingen for a while. And in the meantime, UAS Hannover is on track as well. It's the first time. Be gentle, it says on the wing. Well, first time on the endurance track this year anyway.
And the driver taking it very gently indeed. So we'll probably be seeing a blue flag very soon again, as the car from Trondheim is going faster and faster.
Yeah, unfortunately they lost quite a bit of time behind HAWK Göttingen. So this lap was only at 80.1, so they lost, well, I dare to say about 8 seconds behind HAWK Göttingen. But yeah, at least they are driving, and so far, I'm not going to jinx it, but so far they have been driving a lot better than yesterday during the autocross, so that's positive.
And now we have another car joining us on track, car number 19 from Braunschweig. I think we're about to see another blue flag for Hannover, indeed, allowing the car from HAWK Göttingen to overtake them. Drivers following the procedures very well. So, 4 cars on track already. I think in the past we've seen anywhere up to 5 and 6 cars on track simultaneously. Let's see if the drivers, if the officials decide to let the drivers join in on the action, as we now see, I believe, what is our first cone hit of the endurance. That was by Revolve NTNU. But apart from that, very clean driving so far. And just as I say that, the car from HAWK Göttingen is spinning out in the final few corners, but the driver does manage to catch it. The driver is going much more aggressively now. The car proving to be a little bit of a handful, but the driver does manage to keep going.
And already you see the last lap sign being readied. I think that's the car from Trondheim, already nearing the completion of the first half of the endurance. So far, so good. Let's hope it will stay that way. So I think the car, this driver is just about to complete the 8th lap. So yeah, there we go. It's, the driver has been given the last lap sign. So in a couple of minutes, we will see the first driver change of this endurance event. Yeah, and we have a very good viewpoint here from our position next to the officials. We have both a very good view of the track, but also a very good view of the driver change area. We will try to keep you updated about the situation also in the driver change area. And in the meantime, we have HAWK Göttingen overtaking the car from Braunschweig, that is, Igor, if I see that correctly. But also it was very safe and quick as well, so I didn't have to lose a lot of time.
As we now hit the green flag for car number 127 from Lausanne. So for a short moment, we're going to have 5 cars on the track, but as you mentioned, Mickey, one of them is about to leave, car number 63 from Trondheim, completing the first half of the endurance and pulling into the driver change.
Yeah, so whatever gremlins they had yesterday, not even being able to complete 2 autocross laps without any issues. They did something to the car, maybe change batteries or have some gremlin hunting. First driver is already out, second driver already in. That was quick. I think the egress time of 5 seconds is no problem for these guys. Yeah, there's no drama as far as I can tell. Scrutineers are doing their job. They are checking any play on the wings, on wheels, any unsafe situation. That's their job. I see something going on the track, Yegor.
Indeed, Mickey, you mentioned no drama in the driver change, but there is a little bit of drama on the track. Car number 127 from Lausanne has completed half a lap, but unfortunately stopped, coming back into the infield, but now they do get going again. Let's hope they can keep going all the way to the end. And I think you mentioned already, Mickey, but just to remind the audience watching along, the drivers get 3 minutes to change, to perform the driver change, to get back out on the track. If they take longer than 3 minutes, then that time is added to the total time of the endurance. So, of course, in the interest of the drivers to go as quickly as possible. Car number 127 from Lausanne, unfortunately going very slowly and stopping just outside of the horseshoe. The driver doing very well to pull off the track and not become an obstruction to the other cars. Let's see if they can get going once again. The officials are just giving the driver a bit of time. The T-cell light is flashing red. So hopefully there's still enough charge in the car to complete the endurance. Couple of big slides from Göttingen going through the start-finish area. Lausanne, meanwhile, does manage to get going again.
Yeah, we saw this yesterday from Lausanne as well. Also on the driverless events, a lot of issues with keeping the car going. So I'm not sure how far they will reach until the next stoppage, but so far they managed to get it going again. Obviously it will hurt them in the total time. And I think there's already another overtaking situation. Yeah, we have an actual traffic jam coming up. So I think the next overtaking zone should be quite interesting because, yeah, we have 3 cars bunching up. And I do believe the first 2 should be given the blue flag. No. Yeah. Actually, they did. So to allow the HAWK Göttingen car to pass, I think the HAWK Göttingen car was the fastest of the 3. So I do believe Braunschweig is a little bit slower just than the car behind them.
Indeed, and I think the blue flag in this case was waved only for the car from Braunschweig, so it seems the driver from Hanover sacrificed themselves a little bit to allow the car from Göttingen to pass both of them. And unfortunately now the driver from Hanover will have to wait until the next overtaking area to get ahead of Braunschweig.
Yeah, sometimes it's very difficult to see who the blue flag is being waved to. Normally what we would tell the marshals is to point at the car while you're giving the flag. And already we have another situation. Now, there you see it. This marshal is pointing to the car while waving the blue flag. So then the car behind, also pulling into the overtaking zone. So we have a self-sacrificing driver here.
Well, we also don't know. Maybe the car from Hanover is not able to go that much faster than the car from Braunschweig. We're not sure. So it could be that the two of them are just going at a similar pace, making friends together out on the track. Oh yes, and we do now see the car from Hanover was indeed considerably faster, and it was the driver just being gentlemanly and allowing the cars that are faster than him to pass ahead, well, out of turn, so to speak. But now the situations are resolved. Every driver has no obstructions ahead of them. And car number 63 from Trondheim has made it out of the driver change and back onto the track for the second half of their endurance. 9 laps to go for Trondheim.
And it seems that HAWK Göttingen is also coming up to the last lap sign. So they have completed 8 laps. This is the final lap for this driver, at least, before the driver change. What kind of times do we see on the board, Diego?
Yeah, I was just looking. Fastest out of the track so far is still the car from Revolve, 72.3. But the car from HAWK Göttingen has been speeding up consistently, starting with a 1:08 and doing now on the penultimate lap of their first half endurance, 85.9. And the rest of the cars are somewhere in the 120 to 150 range. We see once again a blue flag for TU Braunschweig as Revolve overtakes them.
Yeah, this is unfortunate for Revolve. Obviously, they have a fast car. Unfortunately, not reliable enough yesterday to put them higher up on the ranking and later on in the endurance event. So that means that they are driving around with cars that have had similar issues but are a lot slower. So that means that every now and then Revolve will lose some time to overtake these cars. Like we said earlier, there's strictly no overtaking on track other than the blue overtaking zone. So we will see this a couple of times during the day. Although the further we are, the more we get into the better cars, the faster cars, the more comparable cars. And we have HAWK Göttingen crossing the line, completing the first half endurance. So far, so good. Well done by HAWK Göttingen.
Indeed, a lovely performance from Göttingen so far. Looking in the queue, next we should be joining us in a few seconds, car number 13 from Sion. And just behind them is the car from Porto, car number 320. What do you think, Nicky? What is the maximum number of cars we'll see concurrently on the track today?
Well, normally it's a 6. Depending on, let's say, reliability and speed, obviously the organization has the option to put out more. But I think 5 or 6 is sort of the optimum. You don't want to have, you don't want to create situations that cars are punching up, or if one car breaks down, then you're hindering obviously 5 other teams. So here we have a new car on the track, car number 13 from Switzerland, Volos, Sion. And we have one of the cars slowing down on the Ravenel curve.
Yes, that is the other Swiss competitor that was on the track, car number 127 from Lausanne. They have already stopped a few times, but managed to get going again. So let's hope they can do it once more.
Yeah, the driver routinely pulling over off the track because the driver knows, okay, I'm going to be a blockade for the rest of the drivers. So I don't want to do that. I know I have a unreliable car, so if I have to stop, I will stop off the track. But he gets it going again. Let's hope they can finish the rest of the endurance without any major issues.
And we have the car from Trondheim now catching up to Braunschweig. A couple of black, red, and white cars. Unfortunately for Trondheim, they do it just after one of the overtaking zones. So now they will have to go through the entirety of the horseshoe and slingshot before they're given a chance to overtake.
Yeah, and unfortunately the blue overtaking zones are not equally placed around this track. So there are some areas that are quite long without any overtaking opportunities. And I think Lausanne has stopped yet again. But now Revolve has passed the car from Braunschweig and completing another lap.
Yeah, just speaking of the overtaking zones, I believe there are 4 of them in total. There is one just before the start line and one just after the finish line. One more on the outfield along the Ravenel curve on the quote-unquote true Hockenheimring track. And then one just after making it back to the infield. As we have car number 320 from Porto pulling up to the green flag. The officials will just wait for the cars from Sion and Hannover to make their way past. The car from Lausanne now, I see a green light and the driver is out of the car. Unfortunately, I believe that will be a DNF for the Swiss competitor.
Yes, and it's already been confirmed on the radio by timekeeping. Unfortunately, the car from Lausanne is a DNF officially as well. The driver getting out of the car is also kind of a clue for that. I think we have another car on the track. I missed the number, but Diego, you had it right. So.
Yes, that is car number 320 from Porto, and HAWK Göttingen also made it out of the driver change, and they're just waiting to be released back for their second half endurance. So Mickey, 5 cars out on the track already. HAWK Göttingen now getting in as well. 6 cars running simultaneously. A little bit of a traffic jam, yellow flag situation around the parked Lausanne car. And I think because the track marshals were indicating that the drivers can now accelerate out of the yellow flag zone, they forget to wave the blue flag for Braunschweig. So the cars from Sion and Hannover will be stuck behind them for just a couple of minutes now.
Yeah, this is one of the situations that's just a little bit complicated. Everybody looking at the Lausanne car and not managing the blue overtaking zone for the moment. But okay, that's what happens in racing. Sometimes you are unlucky a little bit. I think the Lausanne car will be cleared quite soon. And then we have, well, you mentioned that we have 6 cars running. So far, I don't see any intention from the organization to put in a 7th car. So, as we mentioned earlier, 5 to 6 cars is sort of an optimum.
Yeah, we're almost about to see a 5-car traffic jam. So 5 of the 6 very, very close to each other on track. Braunschweig now do get the blue flag, allowing Sion and Trondheim to get ahead. But the next station is not ready with the blue flag, and Hannover, well, they seem to be keeping about the same pace as the car from Braunschweig, so that's not an issue. But Trondheim is stuck behind Porto for one of the overtaking zones. And I think that both of them are about to catch up to the car from Sion as well, so we're about to see another 4-car traffic jam. HAWK Göttingen, though, they are in free air, so to speak. So we see that the 3 cars that were faster than car number 13 from Sion have gotten ahead of them now, although Sion does seem to be catching up. As the car from Hannover now gets the blue flag, of course all of them have to slow down there because of the Lausanne car still placed in the infield. Hannover do get out of the way nicely for Porto and Trondheim and Sion. from Trondheim, unfortunately, have been stuck behind the car from Porto all this time. I'm sure the driver will be a little bit frustrated that they're not able to unleash the full power of the car that is available to them. But we should be getting a blue flag situation now for Porto. Indeed, we do. Trondheim now gets out ahead of all of the cars that were in front of them and into free air. Porto car being held just a little bit longer to allow the car from Sion and Hannover to pass. But I believe the car from Porto is actually faster than those, so we might see a blue flag very quickly. Hannover, meanwhile, do pull into the driver change. They complete the first half of endurance.
Yeah, we have another car waiting at the line, car number 67, just waiting to come to into the endurance. It's the University of Bath, arguably the fastest UK team here in Germany. And that means that for a very brief amount of time we will have 7 cars on track. But I think that will be only for maybe 1 lap, because I think Trondheim will be nearing the finish.
No, indeed, Trondheim are on their 16th lap, so after they finish this, 2 laps to go. And of course it depends a little bit on how fast the driver change from Hannover can happen, and whether the drivers, whether the officials let them back onto the track quickly.
Yeah, officials making most of the situation of the ideal conditions on track, and letting cars, as many cars as they dare to on track. Meaning that hopefully the endurance will not take until 8 o'clock this evening. We still do have the Historic Cup this afternoon as well. So a bit more cars to tend to today. So the more cars they can run in the morning session, the better.
So there is a bit of a gap now for the car from Bath to be allowed in. Let's see if the officials indeed decide to show them the green flag now. Oh, and I see why the car from Bath is not being allowed onto the track. It is actually being pushed away from the starting line. Not sure what the issue was there, but the driver was not able to start for some reason. That's of course not something you ever want to see. Car being pulled away before even starting. But perhaps because they did not start, it is also not a DNF, and maybe they will be able to rejoin us in the afternoon for the out-of-order runners.
Yeah, it depends a little bit on the how fast they can resolve their issues. Looks like the car is being pulled back, and in the meantime I think we missed it just a little bit, but the last lap sign has been given to Trondheim, so that means that they're on the final lap of the endurance. So everybody keep your fingers crossed for Trondheim, because this is a vital lap for them to finish. As always, to finish first, you first have to finish, and I think half a lap to go for Trondheim.
Indeed, and the car from Braunschweig right now in the blue overtaking zone, but I believe they will also get a last lap sign for their first half. And I think I just saw a meatball flag for the car from Porto as well, car number 320.
Yeah, there's either something wrong with the car, or the driver not following the flags, or something like that. We will find out shortly. But Trondheim, in the meantime, is on the final straight, coming into the final chicane. Only a couple of meters left. And today we have our first finisher of the endurance, Trondheim. Well done. After yesterday, it's actually a very, very good job of this team, managing to fix the car, whatever issues they had, and being the first finisher of the endurance in quite a good speed as well. Obviously, they got hindered a lot by the other teams on track, but amazing job from the Norwegian guys.
Indeed, very well done, Trondheim. And now the car from Trondheim is replaced by car number 23 from TU Poznan. And we have an indicative time for how long endurance will be taking today. It was 1,478 seconds. I'm not going to do the math on that, how many minutes it is, but somewhere around the 1,500 range is what we will be aiming for the rest of the endurance runners.
Yeah, and I heard on the radio, I don't see the car itself, but I heard on the radio there's car number 320, Porto, that they have a DNF. And I do see just on the Ravenel curve, one of the cars being pushed away. So unfortunately, I think that's the car from Porto. It was also the car that was given the meatball flag, right? So not sure what happened there, but that's really unfortunate for them.
The car from HAWK Göttingen is progressing nicely. They are on their 15th lap, although the second driver is taking a much more conservative pace than the first driver we saw in the first half. So 5 cars on the track at the moment. We also have car number 7 from Lisbon lining up at the green flag. I think the officials might just let them out before the car from Braunschweig comes around. Indeed they do. Car number 7 from Lisbon joining us on the endurance track with a big power slide out of the starting area. And the car from Braunschweig not being shown the blue flag. I believe that will be because they are coming in for their driver change. And indeed, Braunschweig now completing the first half of the endurance, pulling into the pit area and releasing the car from Poznan. In the meanwhile, we also saw a blue flag situation for car number 84 from Hannover, HAWK Göttingen being allowed to overtake them. And one more blue flag situation developing in the outfield. The car from Lisbon has caught up to the car from Sion.
And in the meantime, we have another team on track from Ghent University from Belgium. Designed for speed, tested in panic.
Yeah, so once again, we have 6 cars out on the track, and I believe that will be it for the time being, depending on how quickly Braunschweig can perform their driver change. The car from Sion is slowing down to a very, very slow pace now. They had been getting slower since the start of their endurance run. Hopefully there's enough charge in the car to keep going.
So a lot of action going on track. We do have a live stream, so we have a very capable camera crew on site as well. They try to put everything on the YouTube channel as well. So all the viewers at home, I hope you get a very good live feed with our pleasant commentating as well added to it. But yeah, a lot of action, and this will continue until the morning session is over, and we have had all the morning runners. Another overtaking just at the final straight. TU Poznan is actually pretty quick out on track. A little bit resembling Revolve team from earlier. Obviously they have a quick car, but maybe not as reliable as they wanted to. So now they are in a situation that they will be overtaking a lot of teams.
Yes, the car from Lisbon, car number 7, also looking pretty quick out on the track. They of course had to slow down a little bit because of blue flag situations, so the times we're seeing at the moment are not indicative of their true pace.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody also, after finishing endurance, there is post-scrutineering. or post-event scrutineering, I should say, meaning that there are some vital checks being done by the scrutineers on the cars to make sure that they're legal. That means that any finisher is not an official finisher as long as the scrutineers have not confirmed so. So even though we might be very happy and saying that they finished endurance, then also still just be reminded that that might not be the case after a while. And I do believe Hugo is pointing out a situation on the Ravenel curve.
Yes, it is the car number 13 from Sion coming to a complete halt. Now there are 3 cars that are going to be overtaking them. And I see the car from HAWK Göttingen going behind, also slowing down very much. I don't think they're just slowing down for the yellow flags. I believe the car has been getting progressively slower as the endurance event advanced. One more blue flag situation developing. That is the car from Lisbon overtaking the car from Ghent. HAWK Göttingen does get going again, but going considerably slower than they were before. And the car from Sion does manage to get going under their own power. And I think the car from Hannover was allowed to cut the hairpin a little bit just to get ahead of the car from Sion as they figured out how to get going again. But there is a little bit of a traffic jam forming once more because one of the other contestants has caught up to the car from Sion. And that is car number 23 from Poznan.
Yeah, and HAWK Göttingen indeed slowing to a crawl, or even slower to a stroll. Definitely some kind of change in the situation because they were actually one of the fastest on track. But now it's a proper traffic jam, and it's still quite a while before the car is into an overtaking zone. So I'm not sure whether this driver realizes. Yeah, the team is holding up 3 other teams, which soon will be 4 or 5 teams if they continue like this. So it's an unfortunate situation. Maybe the driver would be wise to pull off the track and let the other ones pass him. But I'm not sure whether, yeah, this driver definitely wants to continue, which I totally understand. But it's an unfortunate situation for already 4 other teams behind them.
No, of course, and the thing is the car from HAWK Göttingen wants to continue because they're on their 17th lap right now, desperately close to the finish of the endurance. And the officials are now saying that the car from Göttingen has slowed down too much. They're allowing the cars behind them to go around them out of the track. The car from Ghent joining that little traffic jam.
Yeah, this is a good solution by the marshals, also allowing the 5th car to pass the stricken HAWK Göttingen. And I think HAWK Göttingen also stopped to be able to let the other cars pass, but this will be very, very long. This will take a long time to finish this lap and the next lap. So I hope they manage to get going again.
Yeah, not only Göttingen, because all these different cars of different speeds have now been bunched up. There will be a bit of a backlog of blue flags for the officials. And car number 167 from Osnabrück is about to be given the green flag as well, it seems. HAWK Göttingen is stopping on track once again, just trying to crawl their way towards the horseshoe corner.
Yeah, it seems like a battery issue. This just ran out of juice. Well, of course, we're speculating. We don't know. We would love to know. We would love to have all the information, all the data. Unfortunately, to our very big frustration, Matthias, we don't have that information about what's going on. But this has all the signs of just not having enough juice left in the batteries.
Yeah, unfortunately, that does look like it. Also extremely complex situations going on now with all these blue flags. Of course, you get this bit of unstable effect because now the first car needs to get into the blue zone, will get overtaken by a few cars. But then maybe this one is actually faster than the last one. So you keep on getting blue flags and blue flags. Very difficult situation to solve, but that is of course the disadvantage of running early in the session. Also, the yellow flags do not help to see what the true pace is of these cars and what cars should go first and what not. Blue flag now given for 23 is at Poznan. They are being overtaken by the number 7.
Yeah, Lisbon driver was very up close and personal to the Poznan car, so that's usually not a good idea to do so. But this went well in the end, all safe.
Yeah, now I'm curious to see if Poznan is actually quicker than Ghent. So then we will see another swap potentially, but it's quite close. So let's see what will happen. But I think finally we got rid of our entire traffic jam, so the cars can get up to their speed and show what they're worth.
Yeah, we saw the car from Belgium stopping earlier a little bit, but fortunately they managed to get going again.
We have the car from TU Braunschweig, successfully completed their driver change and are lined up at the starting line. And looking over at the commentary forum, Mickey, you were trying to figure out why the car from Hannover says it's my first time, be gentle. And the reason is that this is their first EV season, and it's their first electric car. It took them 2 years to construct it, and they are now finally very happy to be driving in their first dynamic disciplines. And they also, they're saying a fun fact, they had to paint their chassis 10 times.
Yeah, I listen on the radio and I hear the information from HAWK Göttingen. The driver is indicating the battery being almost empty. So now the officials say, okay, you get one more try and then you have to pull off. But I think that's already the case because the car is being pulled off. So unfortunately our guesstimate was right. HAWK Göttingen just ran out of juice, unfortunately. Too bad for them. They only had 1.5 lap left to go in the endurance. But this is something we mentioned earlier. Battery management is key. If you go just a bit too fast, then you might run out of battery. And then we have Sion in for their driver change, if I'm correct.
Indeed.
Lisbon now very quickly approaching the car from what I think is Osnabrück, who joined us recently. Not 100% sure if the 167 is Osnabrück. But yeah, the Lisbon car will have to wait after slingshot before they will get past.
Car number 167 is indeed Osnabrück, and they mentioned in their commentary forum that they are very happy to have won the Crazy 20 Style Award and gotten the Professional Night photo shoot. And they would like to send thanks to judges and the FSG team for that amazing gift.
And both Lisbon and Poznan make their way past Osnabrück. Lots of wheel spin for the Poznan car, who is eagerly trying to get back at Lisbon, but it does look like Lisbon just has a bit more speed than them.
Well, you say that, but looking at the fastest lap from Lisbon so far was an 89.2. And the fastest from Poznan was an 86.8, so they do indeed seem to be very evenly matched.
I hope they will get a clean lap in at some point so that they can show what their true pace is. Unfortunately, I do think that they are catching the car from Braunschweig, Lions Racing now. Luckily, immediately they catch them at the blue flag zone, so Lisbon has cleared them, and I think also Poznan will follow, so that's nice to see. Well organized by the officials.
And it seems we have a proper battle between the Lisbon car and the Poznan car, right, Matthias? So they have similar pace. Looks like the Poznan car is catching just a little bit, but this should be a really nice battle on track.
Yeah, in my opinion, Lisbon is just a bit quicker, but it's on and off. It really depends on what point they are on the track. So indeed, excited to see a last lap sign given to the Lisbon car and also to the Poznan car, I think. Yeah, so that will be pretty cool. They will be getting into the pits together, as if we are already in the final five.
And we have another car coming out on track, car number 16. I think this was the Winterthur car from Zurich, or UAS Zurich. So not the, it's the other Zurich making out on track. So we have Let me do a quick count for 6 cars on track again, 7 cars even, if my eyes are not deceiving me. Or I can't count, that's also an option.
No, we should indeed be seeing the cars from Winterthur, Osnabrück, Ghent, Lisbon, Poznan, Sion out on the track, and Braunschweig as well.
Yeah, Sion is currently in the driver change, so is that 8 cars then that we have kind of like active going? 7 on track, 1 in the pits?
Yeah, I think Hannover, Hannover is the one I forgot to mention, sorry I interrupted you there.
No, I'm just glad that my eyes and my math are quite okay today.
And that's so early in the morning, so it's promising to be a very good day then.
Yeah, what a couple of double espressos can do in the morning, it's magic. Anyway, we have the waved checkered flag for the University of Lisbon, and just behind them the same for University of Poznan. So we will have a battle of driver change in the driver change area.
Yes, indeed, 3 cars in the driver change area at the moment.
Indeed, I am having a look now how the driver is getting out. So the Lisbon driver is already out, and eagerly they are changing, well not changing, but extending the seat belts again for the second driver come in. Also the driver from Poznan got out very quickly. They are changing their arm restraints, so they only have 1 set, so to see. But they do of course have 3 minutes to complete driver change. I do hear the sound from Sion, and they will be making their way again back onto the track.
So I'm just looking at the Hannover car, which is just coming up, and I think first Ghent University is given the last lap sign before the driver change, and we have Sion Volos out on track after a successful driver change.
Talking about driver change, the Lisbon driver is already in. The Poznan drivers, they are taking their time, I would say, only just now getting in the seat. I'm not sure how much time they have left, but definitely a pace difference in how they approach the driver change. I'll also try to catch either driver of Lisbon or Poznan for maybe a little early interview on a Sunday morning.
Yeah, and the car from Hannover, ever so gently and but securely navigating through the final straight into the chicane, and they are being given the last lap sign. So they are on their last lap of the endurance. So everybody keep your fingers crossed for Hannover to make it the next 1.2 kilometers.
And just looking over at the commentary for car number 167 from Osnabrück again, their drivers are Moritz Poix, nicknamed Brutus, and Tim, who is the team's head of aerodynamics, and Cassis. I'm not sure whether they meant the black currant drink or if they just misspelled chassis, but it would be nice to have a head of Cassis on the team as well.
So, and there we go. We have also the waved checkered flag for Ghent coming into the driver change.
A little bit of a traffic jam situation forming once again behind the car from Braunschweig. They have unfortunately been one of the slower runners, but fortunately one of the most reliable.
Yeah, and so far I have to give it to all the drivers on track. They have been very safe and respectful for the flags. So drama, so far no drama on track, and we like to keep it that way. No dangerous situations or ignoring flags. So that's actually quite good. And I see a car from Lisbon already ready to go out on track. But first, we have the car from Hannover approaching the start-finish for their very final meters in the endurance. Car number 84, Hannover, is our second finisher of the day. And while we have success for Hannover, we see a bit of a drama in the infield just after slalom. One of the cars has pulled over. Let me see which one that is. But it's going again, so that's only a temporary. It was car number 167. Yeah, Osnabrück. That was Osnabrück. They stopped for a while, but they managed to get the car going again.
And it is taking a while for Poznan to get ready, but I think they just managed in time. Everything took just a little longer, but luckily I do hear the diesel sound now, so they will be making their way to the track again.
Yeah, and Lisbon has rejoined the track, completing the, actually winning the driver change battle from Poznan. But also Poznan is now here on track. And as we see, the car from Hannover is being pushed away after completing the endurance. So we have two finishes today. Already this morning we had Trondheim and now Hannover finishing the race. Yeah, and again, there's a car being pulled into the overtaking lane. Yeah, so the Lisbon car can overtake. I think it's a Braunschweig car again, which is still going strong. Not the fastest, but still, in the end, it matters to complete the endurance and bagging some points. So far, I see also the car from Sion HES coming to a halt in the Ravenel curve section. That's not planned as far as I can tell, so the other cars are being waved past by the marshals in a safe manner, hopefully. Yeah, but unfortunately the car from Sion has stopped again. Yeah, let's hope that they will be able to continue. Yeah, and it looks like Volos managed to get going again. That took quite a while, and it's not like it's the fastest getaway yet, but it is going. As long as it's going, there's hope. So the Swiss team members probably looking on from the grandstands, thinking, "Oh my God, this was very tight," and they're happy that the car is driving again. Fingers crossed it will be able to do so for a long time.
I am actually here with the first driver from Ghent, Louis. Louis, how did it go on the first part of the endurance?
First of all, it was amazing to make it for the first half. Also, in the beginning, there was a bit of traffic, so those laps aren't that great. Sadly, near the end, I think one part of the cooling wasn't properly working, so we were limited in power with the inverters. So yeah, very happy to have made it this far, and we'll see how the second part goes. We've now been able to restart the cooling, so now everything is working properly. So let's hope that we can do a nice second stint.
Amazing, thank you very much. So let's pray for them that they can wrap up their second part of the endurance in a fast fashion. Driver looked really happy in my opinion, so it's nice to see.
Yeah, Matti, and Your compatriots are already back on track again. The car from Ghent has rejoined the endurance. Let's hope, because it's still a long way to go. 9 laps, 1.2 kilometers each lap. So just looking at the track, Osnabrück is being given the last lap sign. So that means that they are on their 9th lap of the just before the driver change. Not sure whether any other cars are nearing the end of endurance.
There are yellow flags being waved. The car from Sion slowing down. Unfortunately, just at the end of the overtaking area, the driver from Poznan and Lisbon as well are getting around. And I can see that the car from Lisbon is now behind the car from Poznan. Is that because they have caught up to them by a lap, or has Poznan overtaken Lisbon?
No, I think that was the difference in the driver change time. Poznan took quite a bit longer in the driver change, and they were held up at the start again. Quick thinking by the marshals, by the way, to wave the oncoming cars past the Sion car, which has come to a standstill. So I think that the marshals are telling the cars to go into the overtaking lane and overtake Sion. Usually it's the other way around, but I think this is quick thinking and a safe solution to wave the cars past and not let them suffer too much.
Sion got going, but it's crawling, so it's just a matter of time if they get stranded again. Okay, they're getting some speed in the Sion car again, so that's good to see. Meanwhile, Osnabrück in the driver change, successfully completing their first 9 laps.
Yeah, and if you see the marshal waving a very fancy double flag action and pointing, and so that was actually quite spectacular. Hopefully we will get some footage of that, because it looked like a double-handed lightsaber duel with Darth Maul, but not going to go into Star Wars too much, but it looks fancy.
Lisbon is going quite a bit slower compared to their first lap, so would be curious if they are managing some kind of energy or temperature issue. But I think also Poznan is reducing the pace just a little and do some managing.
Yeah, car number 13 moving much better now. That is lovely to see on track.
And the car from Sion is already being waved the blue flags, because it's Lisbon and Poznan that are coming by again, but they're really crawling into the blue area. Yellow flags also being waved because Sion is crawling to a halt. And right after the overtake on Sion, they're catching up very quickly on Braunschweig. Also Ghent is unfortunately crawling to a halt here just in front of the audience. And a new traffic jam here in Horseshoe as well. Luckily for Lisbon and Poznan, there's a blue zone coming up shortly. Also Sion is rolling again in the blue area. Lots of things happening again at the same time. But Braunschweig is sent in the blue zone, and we will again see a battle of Lisbon and Poznan, who is the quickest one. Driver from Ghent, unfortunately, getting out of the car again, yellow zone. The cars are being sent into the blue track again, and they will be making their way.
Yeah, it seems unfortunately whatever cooling issue they had might have reared its ugly head again. But unfortunately that is a DNF for the competitor from Ghent. I will say though, Looking at the track, one of the cars that's been most impressive to me, not one of the fastest, but definitely very, very steady, is car number 19 from Braunschweig. They've kept a very consistent pace all throughout. It seems the team is very aware of whatever limitations the car might have and set it up very well to just reliably finish the endurance.
Yeah, steady wins the race, as we always say. Obviously, if you look at the points, it will not be a huge amount compared to the other ones, obviously. But in the end, for a lot of teams, just finishing endurance is a huge accomplishment. So how many points you get, it's still something to be proud of in the end.
Yeah, the car from Braunschweig, the team would like to give a shout out to Fuji of TU Hamburg, who was feeding one of their injured team members when he couldn't walk. And they say that the picture of that will definitely be going up on the Braunschweig Wall of Fame.
Sion still going steady. It does look like almost they are going a bit slower, but just keeping a steady pace actually. Oh no, Poznan now coming to a halt after Horseshoe. The driver trying to get the car off track, but the car came to a halt just before. Will they be able to continue, because they were so fast just before? Being able to follow Lisbon, certainly in the first part of the endurance.
I can see some movement in the car, but it was very small. Yeah, they are going. No, not again, not. Not sure what the situation is. Maybe some cooling issue or some other gremlin. Again, 2 meters and then coming to a halt again. Yeah, this is heartbreaking, right? Because we had such a nice battle between the Lisbon car and the Poznan car, but I'm seeing another car being stuck on track.
Yeah, that's Sion that came to a halt. We also just saw the overtake from Winterthur on Braunschweig. They are now, Winterthur now approaching the stranded car from Poznan, who is again moving for a meter. They need to be make sure that they do not get any collisions there.
Yeah, and it looks like the Poznan car is trying to go, but it's not going. Who is going? UAS Lemgo.
Lem going out onto the track. The car from Poznan still stranded just on the exit of Horseshoe. Braunschweig and Lisbon both being guided around, and surely Braunschweig will also be shown the blue flag to allow Lisbon to overtake. Sion, meanwhile, does seem to have gotten going again. I don't see them, indeed I do see them just entering the outfield, going along the Ravenel curve.
And Poznan trying to crawl again, and they seem to always be able to do a few centimeters. But then it's crawling to a halt again. So let's hope that they can find a setting again that can wrap them up. Lisbon again caught up on Sion, and unfortunately for them the next blue zone is quite far away. They'll have to stick with them through Pendulum and onto the infield.
Now you see the car from Lemgo once again continuing the behavior from yesterday, collecting quite a few cones throughout the endurance track. But the car must just be very difficult to control because the driver is clipping a lot of cones. As we now see car number 167 from Osnabrück making it out of the driver change and starting the second half of their endurance run.
Yeah, and the car from Lemgo might actually be the quickest one currently on track. Let's see how they fare on with all this traffic. Meanwhile, Sion made it to the, not the driver change, but the blue zone, and Lisbon is able to overtake them. So they definitely lost a few 10 seconds being stuck behind that, but that is of course a disadvantage. I see the Zurich car being sent to the, is that the driver change?
Indeed, that is Winterthur going into the driver change, completing the first half of endurance. Car number 13 from Sion, meanwhile, their Swiss compatriots have stopped in the blue zone once again. We have Lisbon just making their way through the last few corners of lap number 17 for them. So once they get around the still stranded car from Poznan, they should be shown the last lap sign. And unfortunately, the driver of the Poznan car is getting out of the vehicle. That is a DNF for car number 23.
Osnabrück immediately overtaking the Braunschweig car, who is actually now kind of stuck in the blue zone together with Sion. But Sion is crawling back onto the track, and so will the Braunschweig car. I'm actually a bit curious which of the two is faster. And if we will see an overtake from Braunschweig on Sion. It does look like Sion is just a bit quicker now. And it's actually Lemgo overtaking, or at least about to overtake Osnabrück. It is unfortunately a yellow zone there, so I think the marshals are too busy waving the yellow flags that they will not wave the blue flag. Not sure if they will be able to manage that. Otherwise, luckily for them, there's another, luckily for Lemgo that is, there is another blue zone coming up shortly.
Yeah, the car from Poznan is unable to be rolled away. I saw the driver checking the front left wheel. And there's a dolly being brought over now. A bit of a traffic jam here at the starting line.
No blue flag though for Osnabrück. That is a missed opportunity there. Lisbon now finding a lot of pace. They seem to be going quicker and slower, depending maybe on what kind of temperatures they are dealing with at the moment.
Yeah, Lisbon are on their last lap. They are about to finish. Unfortunately, they do get stuck behind Braunschweig. As car number 171 from Stockholm starts their endurance run. Let's see if a safety car sticker lives up to its name. Braunschweig, meanwhile, was not guided into the blue flag zone. Lisbon going very slowly indeed behind them.
Yeah, it was a bit complex here with also Sion, also the Poznan car being stranded. So I think they didn't have time to do any blue flags. But Lisbon completing the endurance, congratulations to them. They were quite unlucky with all the traffic on track, but they did make it to the entire endurance.
Indeed, and just ahead of them, Braunschweig was shown the last lap sign. Slow and steady and very reliable so far. Braunschweig entering their last lap.
And Sion is stranded again, and Braunschweig overtakes them because they are stranded. And again with quite a bit of wheel spin here on the infield. With these new cars on track, we might get some new nice lap times in. It does look like Stockholm might be now the quickest car on track. Of course, it's hard to get a good view on it because they often need to slow down a little bit for a slower car in front of them. But that is, of course, if you are doing your autocross not in the optimal setting or not optimal time, you end up with cars around you that are a bit slower. That is disadvantage of going early in the session. And I did see that Winterthur made its way back from the driver change, so they are on to their second part of their endurance. I see a finish flag being prepared. Is that for Braunschweig?
Yes, it would be. I think they still have quite a bit of time to go. Also being pulled over into the blue zone. Preemptively to allow Stockholm to pass.
Both Lemgo and Stockholm pass by, and this will be exciting to see if Stockholm can catch up with Lemgo. I do have a feeling they're slightly quicker, but will they already be able to get close to them at the next blue zone after slingshot? I think they will. They're catching up a bit in Horseshoe. And will Lemgo already be given the blue flag? Not yet.
Yeah, the safety car sticker on the back of Stockholm's rear wing is a reference to their FSA endurance run, where they had some issue with their inverter cooling and had to drive really slowly. So it was a bit of a Braunschweig situation for Stockholm at FSA. They collected quite a few cars behind them. Definitely looked like a safety car from other versions of motorsport. Braunschweig, meanwhile, are making it very slowly but very surely into the Horseshoe, and they are very close to the finish.
Yeah, very interestingly, the Lemgo car is actually very quick in the last sector, and it's really in the middle sector where Stockholm is able to catch up with them. But they were, yeah, actually driving away from Stockholm. Oh no, and I think Stockholm is coming to a halt just outside of what we can see. Maybe we can see it on the live stream, but that would be very unfortunate for them. And meanwhile, Braunschweig ever so slowly coming to their last lap. They only need to do a few corners left. They are caught up by Osnabrück and also Zurich. So this will be a rather complex one for the flagman to navigate.
The Braunschweig car is barely moving.
But they will finish. That is quite an achievement. And across the line goes Braunschweig, and they're very happy. Well done by them.
Absolutely deservedly so. Car number 171 from Stockholm, meanwhile, did get going again. From Sion, number 13, slowing down and speeding up yet again. And in all this excitement, we also had car number 17 from Cluj-Napoca join us on track. So the car from Braunschweig was only our fourth finisher of the day. Let's see if Osnabrück, the furthest along so far, will be able to join them. We do see a car stopping out on the track. I believe that is car 153 from Lemgo, but they do get going again.
Indeed, and I do see a flag appearing here that I do not like to see and no one likes to see. I think it is the meatball flag, potentially for Sion. It is a black flag, but they are meant to do a meatball flag, I think. So they will have a look if that car is able to continue. Also, Cluj on track. Is it the first lap? It is.
Yes, indeed. 143 seconds. So a little bit faster than some of the good cars we've seen so far, a little bit slower than some of the others. It would be interesting to see what is happening with the car from Sion, because while going very stop and go, they did manage to complete 15 laps. They only had 3 more that they needed to finish.
Yeah, meanwhile we saw an overtake, Stockholm passing Lemgo. Of course they managed to catch up again because Lemgo had a little parking session there. And they are also driving away from them now. So clearly Stockholm is at the moment the quicker car on track.
Yeah, so from 7 cars moving on track, we are currently down to 5. Looking at the queue, we should see cars 279 from Pforzheim and 36 from Chemnitz joining us soon. And Matti, maybe you can investigate the situation with the car from Sion. That's car number 171 from Stockholm. It's a big power slide just after the finish line, clipping a couple of cones but continuing along.
And I see the car from Pforzheim being prepared to start their endurance. It's a really nice car with one of the few cars that has some pink accents. And remember the rows on the end plate. I think they might well be the quickest car that we will see so far. Of course, excluding Trondheim, who are well out of order. I also have bad news. The Sion car seems like they are not allowed to continue anymore. I think the officials said it was enough. And unfortunately, that's a DNF for them. The UAS Zurich car actually has quite some speed. Should have looked at their lap times. Indeed, they are quite evenly matched with the Stockholm car, who is currently the quickest one that we have on track. Of course, speed is one thing, but we also need to be able to wrap it all up. Lemgo, meanwhile, definitely slowing down just a little bit. Driver collecting a few cones in the process. And Stockholm is preparing an overtake on Osnabrück and potential double overtake if they also can find their way to Cluj. So what I think will happen now is Cluj will be given the blue flag, meaning that both Osnabrück and Stockholm will pass by. Unless they're just not close enough, and then only Osnabrück will get a blue flag. Let's have a look how this plays out.
Yeah, now we also have car number 279 from Pforzheim joining us on the endurance track.
Meanwhile, Cluj has been given the blue flag, and so has Osnabrück. So that means Stockholm could do a double overtake on them. And then it's a matter of moments, I would say, before Osnabrück also catch up with Cluj now. But yeah, here in the infield section we do not have many blue zones, so they'll have to wait until after slingshots. Okay, and I just had a little update on the car from Braunschweig. The team was extremely happy with their run, and rightly so, because apparently this was the first time they finished the dynamic event since 2019. And what an event to pick, immediately getting the endurance wrapped up, so congratulations to them. While I say that, a really nice overtake here from Osnabrück on the Cluj car. And both of those cars going very steadily along the way. Pforzheim stuck behind Lemgo now, have not been given a blue flag. Maybe, I think it's the last step for Lemgo, but no blue flag. Again, Pforzheim is really on the rear of Lemgo. Shame. Pforzheim, after being stuck behind Lemgo, now stuck behind Cluj, and they will have to stick with them through Pendulum. But the moment they will enter the infield section again, there's luckily the blue zone, so we will see them make this overtake rapidly. It does feel like Pforzheim is currently a bit too fast for compared to the vehicles that we have on track.
No, we haven't seen too fast yet, Matti.
Look at the speed from the Pforzheim car. It's really something really different compared to the other cars. Of course, this is their first lap or second lap I should say. So still plenty of energy and cool electronics. Hopefully they can keep up the speed throughout the entire endurance. And immediately again they are catching up with the car from Osnabrück, who will be given the blue flag in time. So Pforzheim will not lose too many seconds here.
Yeah, Osnabrück with only 2 laps to go after this. Lemgo on their last lap before the driver change. And KTH Stockholm also should be shown the last lap sign when they come across the line.
Yeah, Pforzheim is really crazy quick on track at the moment. I'm very curious to see what lap time they will do now. I think they will have a clean track for this lap, so then we will finally see what the potential of that car is. Meanwhile, Cluj being sent into the blue area, being overtaken by a blue car. Zurich UAS from Winterthur. And I think the situation is stabilized a bit now. There's quite a distance between all the different cars, so everyone can finally show what they are worth without being held up too much.
Stockholm is indeed being shown the last lap sign, completing lap number 8. And 4 cars out of track on at the moment. Make that 5.
And the driver from Pforzheim really pushing. Almost lost the car here in Horseshoe, but manages to get it together. And we will finally see what their true pace is. An 83.9. They are lightning fast compared to the other cars that we have on track. We might get another overtake. The Zurich UAS car approaching on the Osnabrück, just catching them here around the finish flag. But they will be given the blue flag, so not too much time lost for Zurich car. And also Stockholm is catching up on Cluj, with the marshals waving the blue flag at exactly the right moment. And also Stockholm will not lose any time with this overtake. But we see some marshals running. That is the Osnabrück car, and I think they have been given the last lap sign actually. So is this their last lap?
Yes, it is indeed their last lap.
Oh no, no, no. But they have been got going again. So this is really now about getting it home for Osnabrück. More than half a lap to go. Meanwhile, Pforzheim flying past us. Did they manage to improve?
They did indeed. It's an 82.5.
Chemnitz making its way onto the endurance with a nice bit of spin of the rear tires. Let's see what kind of pace they can do. It does look like they're just a bit slower than the Pforzheim, so I guess Pforzheim will still be the quickest one on track, but you never know once they get their tires up to temperature how they will perform. Pforzheim meanwhile caught up with Cluj. Not sure since when. Let's hope they did not lose too much time. Cluj being sent into the blue area, and Pforzheim is on their way. Osnabrück meanwhile, although they had a little stoppage earlier, actually going quite quickly now. And across the finish line. Congratulations Osnabrück on finishing endurance. Pforzheim unfortunately clipping a cone here on the last corner, but they're still going very fast, and the driver is pushing, extracting everything out of the car. An early blue flag for Cluj, meaning Chemnitz will not lose any time, but nor will Cluj on this overtake. Well done by the marshals, well orchestrated. And Lemgo successfully completing their driver change, and they are back on track.
Is Stockholm still stuck in the driver change? We see the second driver only just now getting into the car.
Did you just say Stockholm?
Talking about things that are not stuck. It's a car from UAS Zurich, Winterthur, that is about to finish their endurance and across the line. And they are the 6th car to successfully complete the endurance. The team is very happy about that, and rightly so. Congratulations, Winterthur.
Well, it's good to see all these cars finishing. 6 cars are already finishing the endurance. After yesterday, I was holding my breath because we had such a high attrition rate on the autocross, which is usually, well, an easy event in terms of reliability. We have a new car on track, Yegor?
We do indeed. Car number 120 from Diepholz.
Chemnitz, meanwhile, with an 89.5, so it is a quick car, not quite as quick as what the Pforzheim is currently doing. Let's see what Diepholz has to offer to us. First Lemgo on their first lap of the second driver. Are they going quicker? Yes, it's immediately their personal best. It's a 102.2. What a beautiful car from Cluj. It is driving so smoothly, you can barely hear it, but it does have some speed. It's nice to see that they are steadily making their way into the endurance, and so far so good. Pforzheim is catching them rapidly though, and I do see some marshals around a car. Is that the 36 car? Is just furthest away from us. Oh no, Chemnitz are being pushed back on their third lap. So that is a shame to see. Yeah, the fact that they get pushed is often an early sign of a car being DNF'd. Another silent car is joining us, the car from Navarra. You really cannot hear anything from that car, but they were very quick yesterday on the autocross. Lemgo collecting 2 cones, 1 on each side, under their front wing. They will be, just let them go.
Yeah,
and they did. They lost the cones. Good job, Lemgo back on the way.
Yeah, they've been very consistent in collecting cones. I'm not sure if it's a visibility issue or a drivability issue, but I think they might be the record holder for number of cones hit throughout FSG 2025.
Also, the car from Diepholz is very quick, so I'll be very curious to see how their first lap times are. Last lap sign being given to UAS Pforzheim as they pass the start-finish, so this is the last lap for this driver.
Yeah, and Cluj-Napoca rolling up just behind them, just going through the horseshoe. They will be given the last lap sign as car number 171 from Stockholm makes it out of the driver change for the second half of endurance.
Yeah, Diepholz now catching up on Cluj, and unfortunately this time the blue flag was not waved beforehand, but I think one of them will get a last lap sign. It's probably the car from Cluj, and they will be not given the blue flag, interestingly, so Diepholz will have to wait it out just a little bit longer. Lemgo given the blue flag for the rocket ship that is Pforzheim. None of both cars lose too much time. Lemgo is crawling. It seemed as if they were calling to a halt, but maybe it was just the driver taking a bit more cautiously before the corner of the slalom. And Pforzheim here, last bit of corners for this driver. And across the line. So that will be their driver change. I'll have a look if I can get a word from the Pforzheim driver because he was really going quick.
Yeah, as Pforzheim pulls into the driver change, car number 24 is about to join us on track, the competitor from Lieria. All the cars settling into their pace out on track. We see Lemgo getting a blue flag to allow car number 24 from Lieria to overtake. And now car number 17 from Cluj coming in for their driver change, completing the first 9 laps.
And the driver change from Pforzheim is looking smoothly, no drama. Also the driver from Cluj is already out of the car. So no panic, no drama here. It seems like they are doing everything well in time. Of course they still need to get their car restarted and everything. But all looking very professional.
Now I'm just looking at the commentary form for car number 24. It turns out their uni name is pronounced Lieria. So that's another learning for us here in the commentary team. Also, their car is apparently the heavyweight champion at FSG, coming in at 291.5 kilograms. But it is also their first electric car, and it's their first driverless car. And they were very happy to be able to finish one run of driverless acceleration and driverless autocross this year. And on the rear wing, the text #Confia means trust me. Car number 24 would also like to give a shout out to Diogo Duro, their faculty advisor. And just reading the text that they have submitted here. Thank you, Duro, for the long nights that you spent with us while finishing the car, and for all the knowledge that you shared with our team. It was priceless.
I do see some drama here with the Pforzheim car in the driver change. I do not know what is wrong, but the driver is undoing his gloves and his helmet, and the other driver was throwing his balaclava on the ground out of frustration. They are looking at the right front wheel. I'll also see if I have a closer look.
Out on the track, meanwhile, Navarro has overtaken the car from Diepholz.
Cluj, meanwhile, being prepared to get sent back on the track after a successful driver change. And it looked like the Pforzheim had something on their right front suspension, some issue that was identified by the scrutineer. So a leak, there was a leak. So they will not be able to continue on their second part. Too bad, because they were going so quick.
And Cluj, meanwhile, does continue on their second half. The driver looking a little bit tentative out of the box. But let's see if they will speed up as the laps continue piling up.
Diepholz approaching the 29 car from Navarra. Clean overtake. Both did not lose too much time. And now I'm very curious to see if Lemgo will be able to catch up with Navarra, because those are three cars with quite similar pace. Of course, the Diepholz one is the quicker one. But actually Navarra following quite nicely on the Diepholz car. They're really matching through the slalom. And in the last sector.
Yeah, it's been a big back and forth between them, because on the last lap in this final blue section, Navarra was allowed to pass Diepholz.
And there are some weird sounds coming from the Diepholz car, so I wonder if they are running on all motors. And indeed, in this last sector, it seems that Navarra is catching up on Diepholz again. But not quite approaching, like not quite under a rear wing yet. Let's see if Diepholz can put some distance now in the first and second sector.
The Lemgo car also seems to be struggling somewhat. I think Stockholm will be catching them soon.
I have an update on the Pforzheim car, Matthias and Jegor. It seems it wasn't a leak, but there's some free play on the front wheel. There was some deliberation by the marshal scrutineers, and actually it's quite a, well, let's say a mental challenge, because obviously they want to let the Pforzheim car continue, but it has to be safe for everyone. So now they just told the driver, you are allowed to go. We will watch you for 2 laps. If we see any well, unsafe situation, we will bring you in again. So it looks like Pforzheim is getting a second chance.
Talking about unsafe situations, the Navarra car really caught up with the Diepholz car now. And Diepholz been given the blue flag now. So let's hope that finally Navarra can put some distance in between, otherwise we'll have to swap again. But I think unfortunately we'll be catching the car from Cluj, and again they are swapping. This is a bit inefficient if they keep on swapping every blue zone. They need to make a decision at some point.
Well, I think they will definitely be seeing a blue flag, because both of them have now caught up to the car from Cluj. And the car from Lemgo has pulled off to the side of the track. But they do manage to get going again under their own power. So good for the good job from the driver to pull off the track just in case. Thankfully, they are going again, and they are very close to completing their endurance as well. They're on lap number 16 out of 18.
And again, Navarra underneath the rear wing from Diepholz. Just like last lap, they managed to overtake, but then got immediately given the blue flag again. So I'm really hoping that Navarra can push a bit now and put some distance in between. Otherwise, we might see again a swapperoni.
Yeah, I think unfortunately it looks like both of them will be catching up to the car from Leiria.
Yeah, we have, fortunately for Pforzheim, we just gave you an update that they will be allowed to continue with endurance. They will be watched closely by the scrutineers. But yeah, it's unfortunately you had Pforzheim back on track.
Very fortunate indeed.
Navarra now putting some distance between them and Diepholz, so they are clearly the quicker car. Diepholz being shown the last lap sign. And Stockholm is catching up on Cluj. Will they be in time for the overtake zone here after Slingshot? I think they will. Marshall's doing a decent job here at showing the blue flag to Cluj. And yeah, a lot of action on track. Many cars overtaking each other. That's nice to see. Pforzheim now catching up with Leiria. How did we have to say it again?
Leiria.
Yes, we were told that before, but we just didn't remember. So everybody, please keep telling us stuff that we can do better, because we tend to forget. Anyway, so far I see a couple of cars in the queue, but the queue is full, to be honest. And here we have UAS Darmstadt on track.
And Nicky, I believe that is 8 cars out on track now.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to seeing the battle from Pforzheim and Navarra. Navarra being extremely quick, but will they be able to catch up with the Pforzheim car, who was extremely quick on the first stint?
Lemgo, meanwhile, get the last lap sign. Lap number 18 starting for Lemgo.
Diepholz caught up with Leiria. I'm butchering it a little bit, my apologies. But they have been given the blue flag, and Diepholz will be able to pass, which I think for them will be the driver change. Complex situation here, because I think both of them might need the flag.
The driver change indeed for Diepholz, and Navarra should be on their last lap before the driver change.
I do see a flag appear here that I do not like to see. I think it's the meatball flag. I'm not sure for which car. I think they're still debating whether or not they should show it. We'll find out in a few seconds.
This might have something to do with the Pforzheim car, whether they want to bring in the car to make sure it's still safe, or whether they spotted something again on the car. I don't know. And obviously we're speculating a little bit.
Of course, I think this time will then not be added, given that everything is okay. So better safe than sorry, of course.
I think as Lemgo are approaching the finish line, we might see our next competitor enter, 34 from Ingolstadt.
Now it looks like the meatball flag is actually for Cluj. I'm not sure what the... Oh no, it's not. It's not. Fortunately, so it's not definitely not for them. It is for Pforzheim. They are being given the meatball flag. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. So this is, I think, as agreed. And meanwhile, Uni Navarra already in the driver change. Super quick first stint from them. But yeah, this was agreed with the Pforzheim team that they would. Ooh, the driver is really pushing. Sorry to jump, but the Lemgo car, the driver is literally moving. It's a few meters away from the finish line. This is impossible.
Yeah, we saw similar situation with Braunschweig. They were able to get to the finish.
Literally 10 meters or less. It's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, let's see if the green light is on.
Get out and push the car. Get out and push the car. Tell the driver to get out and push the car over the finish.
Oh no, and we do see the marshals have now started pushing away the car from Lemgo. Absolute heartbreak.
Just push it over the finish line, guys. Come on.
It's literally 10 meters.
I think the marshals just waiting for the car from Darmstadt to pass around safely before they push the car from Lemgo.
Yeah. There we go. They were going to push it over the line. Yeah, there we go. Well done.
Wow, I have not seen this before. A car literally coming to a halt. What is it? 5 meters? Literally at where the cars enter the track. I think where they were stranded.
I think it might have literally been almost less than 1 car length. Complete heartbreak for Lemgo, but still getting very, very close. Congratulations to them.
The beautiful car from Ingolstadt making its way to the track. And I think, Mickey, you have an update on Pforzheim.
Definitely. It looks like the scrutineers have checked the car as agreed with the driver, and they are being sent out again. So that's a fortunate development for Pforzheim. In a couple of moments we will see them out on track, hopefully, and they will be able to complete the endurance.
So 3 cars in the pits at the moment, and a further 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the track. As Pforzheim does approach the green flag now.
Yeah, and there we have it. Pforzheim just waiting at the start line. Yeah, I think Marshall is just waiting for the Darmstadt car to clear the track. Stockholm car is quite a bit away, so I think there we have it. Pforzheim back on track. Well done.
Yeah, and the Stockholm car is actually on their final lap, about to see the checkered flag. Also slowing down quite a bit at the finish. but still definitely has enough power to cross the line. And it is a finish for car number 171 from Stockholm.
Well done. And if you look carefully and you you listen carefully, I think they're dragging the front wing. The front wing looks crooked as well from my point of view. So I think the left side is actually touching the ground. So probably they have to have nursed it. And I'm looking at the yeah. Also the marshals have noticed it, that the wing is crooked a little bit. Not sure what that means for the post-scrutineering. Let's hope everything is okay for them and they will manage to pass post-scrutineering without a hinge. But yeah, well done by Stockholm.
Pforzheim now pushing hard, almost missing the corner and catching up with Darmstadt. Darmstadt also a very quick car, who is actually using its DRS in small segments of the track. I do think Pforzheim is really catching up, so we would expect a blue flag anytime soon. We'll have to wait for here just in front of the audience. Ooh, a lot of cones now for the Pforzheim car. Also for Darmstadt, sympathy cone hit. And Pforzheim is able to overtake the Darmstadt car.
Yeah, the cone killer chicane is infamous. And here we have checkered flag for University of Leiria.
We have car number 77, University of Thessaly, joining us on the track.
Ingolstadt with a massive lockup here at the end, going straight on the final corner, clipping a cone and off track. I think this is their first lap, no, second lap, but wow, what a lockup that was. I'm not sure if we said it already, but Navarra is also back on track. This was their 10th lap and they're on their way for completing their 11th lap. Meanwhile, funnily enough, Pforzheim is not able to really make a gap on Darmstadt unless maybe they were stuck behind another car and I missed it. But the two seem to have quite an equal pace. Now in Sector 3 the Pforzheim car might be just a bit quicker.
The car from Darmstadt is carrying the cone and now depositing it on the side of the track. The car from Cluj going a little bit slow, holding up car number 77 from Thessaly. Will they get a blue flag? No, they will not. Odd decisions from the marshals there. And now the car from Thessaly will have to wait quite a while until the outfield section.
Yeah, I have no idea why they didn't give the blue flag. Absolutely no clue.
Nice one, Mickey. But the Cluj is doing really well. They completed, I think, no, this is their 16th lap, so they are looking to wrap up this endurance in style. Going quite slowly now. Hopefully they have been given the blue flag. Yes, they did. The Volos car from Taurus Racing is able to go past.
So no drama out on track at the moment. All the cars progressing very nicely, very smoothly. And taking a look over at the queue, Matti, who might join us next at the endurance track?
So we have Diepholz and Leiria that are in the driver change, and so they will be making their way back. And then in terms of new cars, I see the beautiful car from Regensburg. Behind them, Konstanz and Bochum, so they will be the new cars on the block.
car from Cluj getting the blue flag to allow car number 29 from Navarro to pass them.
Yeah, I'm just looking to at Pforzheim, still going strong, even though there was some suspicion of free play on the front wheels. But so far so good, and as long as nothing breaks, then they should be able to do well. So yeah, good thing that the organizers made the right decision to send them out there again.
And Leiria, meanwhile, car number 24 successfully made it out of the driver change, starting lap number 10.
And Pforzheim was indeed pushing. They had their quickest lap in lap number 4 with an 82.4, but then started slowing down just a little bit, probably to save some energy and limit the temperature, and are now doing 86s.
And we have Diepholz on track, car number 120.
Yes, successfully completing the driver change. So let's see if they can match the speed that they were doing before, or if they will start to manage energy and temperature.
So once again, 8 cars out on track, getting very, very dense.
And look how close Darmstadt is again coming to the Pforzheim car. So clearly those two cars have different speeds and different pace at different parts of the track. And I think in this last sector, Pforzheim is quicker, but then I think in the middle sector, maybe Darmstadt is catching up with them every time. Blue flag for Navarra, and Pforzheim will be able to pass. They will also let Darmstadt by, and Navarra is backing away.
Yeah, and Darmstadt receiving the last lap sign as well. So a lot of action going on just in front of us.
Yes, Darmstadt will be looking to do their driver change, but also Pforzheim is on their 17th lap, so about to wrap up. Talking about wrapping up, I think Cluj will be giving the last lap sign now.
Yes, definitely. Driver acknowledging it by just a slight nod of the head that he has seen the sign and will be navigating through the last lap. Let's hope they can do it and join the exclusive zone of the cars that have finished endurance. So we had, in a certain moment, Diego, you counted 8 cars out on track. I think that's actually might be a new record. As far as I can tell from last couple of years, we only did 6, maybe 7, but now we had 8 cars on track, which is actually quite good. And it's also a testament to the drivers and the organizers.
The car from Pforzheim getting the last lap sign. Darmstadt pulling in for the driver change. And immediately car number 62 from Regensburg goes out on the track.
They don't let any grass grow over that one, did they?
No, a very action-packed morning session so far. How many cars do we currently have on track?
It is 8 right now. 1 just pulled off into the driver change. Darmstadt, if they can get out before one of the other cars finishes, it might even be 9. And the car from Konstanz is also now being lined up at the start line.
And also car number 43 from Konstanz is already on track. So yeah, that's a lot of cars out on track at the same time, but not for long, because I think Cluj-Napoca is coming in for their final couple of meters. The double waved checkered flag for Cluj-Napoca, the team from Romania. Congratulations, guys, well done, finishing endurance.
This allowed Ingolstadt to catch up with Diepholz, so we'll
be given a nice view which of these two cars is the quicker one.
And also Pforzheim finishing endurance after all the mayhem they had during the driver change. All the hopes and despair that we could see from in the eyes of the drivers and the team members. They were given a second chance and they took it. They finished endurance and I can see the team members doing a sort of a dance. Well done, guys. Awesome job.
The Greek car now overtaking the team from Navarra, and they're actually very quick currently on track. From Volos University, when I say so, they lock up the rears and slide into that infield section corner there. And Ingolstadt was indeed a bit quicker than Diepholz, and they successfully made the overtake. So let's see if they can now create a little bit of distance between them.
Yeah, it looks like one of the cars is being given the last lap sign as well, which is Ingolstadt. Closely followed by Diepholz, but Ingolstadt looking to navigate through the last lap before the driver change.
And the number 70 car is really eating up the whole competition, overtake after overtake. I think they are currently our fastest car on track, running 84, 85 consistently. So that is very nice to see. They are almost a few seconds to 10 seconds quicker than other cars on the track as we speak. And I see a new car, the car from Bochum, that will be added to the many cars that we already have on track right now.
Yeah, and Bochum has just been released onto the track. Nice looking car, no aero package, and sliding just a little bit, obviously, which I can imagine because of the downforce. There we have it, the checkered flag for Ingolstadt for the driver change. And also closely followed by Diepholz, just almost the same situation as a lap ago. And I think the last lap sign will be shown to Navarra. Yeah, so they are really quick. Oh, sorry, it's University of Thessaloniki. Also been giving the last lap sign. And there we have Regensburg just crossing the line here in front of us. And the last lap sign is being readied for the next car.
Darmstadt made their way to the starting blocks again. That means they have done a successful driver change and got their car going again. So in a few seconds they will be released on track. And there we go, the 242 car from Darmstadt back on track.
Yes, and University of Navarra actually being on their final lap of the endurance. So again, fingers crossed, they will navigate this 1.2 kilometer track safely without any issues. And we will see them back here in a minute, hopefully taking the checkered flag.
Bochum showing that you do not need aero to be quick. They are overtaking, is that the car from Leiria?
Leiria.
Need to practice a bit. Diepholz being shown a blue flag, and the car from Thessaly is making their way towards a driver change. Diepholz need to be a little bit careful, but it all works out.
Yeah, looking at Navarra just coming into the, hopefully for the last slalom for them, just into the broken, well, what was it, the broken dreams. and into the horseshoe. So only a couple of 100 meters left. We're not going to jinx it this year. We've already had our commentators' curse cast upon the teams yesterday and the day before. But this looks very good. So Navarra coming on to the final straight, over the line, finishing endurance. Very well done by University of Navarra. Car number 29. Awesome job. Yeah, and Matti, you mentioned Bochum. I'm just looking at the driver and in that car, and he's so smooth and so, well, almost relaxed in the car. There's no big drama, no big wheel spin, just a little bit of wiggle, but that's normal for a car without any added downforce. So it's all about mechanical grip for a car from Bochum, but still it looks pretty decent. Oh, and now we have a situation that two cars went into the blue overtaking zone, but there was nobody behind. So I think it was given for one of the cars, but the other one's thinking, also I have to follow the car in front of me. So, well, no harm there. They continued both on their way.
Yeah, probably Diepholz start was also for them. Just in front of us, Ingolstadt completing their driver change successfully. And they're onto their second stint. Konstanz, meanwhile, closing in on the rear of Darmstadt. No blue flag yet, there's just a bit too much distance between them. But I think here in the next blue zone, they will be allowed to go past. And I don't think any of the two teams will lose too much time from this.
Yes, and guess who's back on track? Darmstadt. Sorry, it says it on the wing. Sorry, Matti. I caught Matti looking around. What did I miss something? No, it was the meme on the wing.
Yeah, one of the things that team from Darmstadt wanted to mention is that Obi Trice, real name, no gimmicks.
And Bochum is very quick, 87 already in their third lap, improving multiple seconds every lap, and this is also a better sector. So yeah, extremely quick car for having no wings whatsoever. Almost the quickest on track. Lots of wheel spin for the Diepholz car here exiting the corner. They are still going quickly. Leiria showing the blue flag, letting Ingolstadt past. And I don't think either will lose too much time for that, so well navigated by the marshals. Konstanz still flying. Let's have a look at their lap times.
Yeah, and University of Thessaloniki completing the driver change successfully, back on track.
And that was a quick car, the one from Thessaloniki, so I'm curious to see if they will keep up with that speed they had in their first stint, or that they did an analysis on energy and temperature, and they will take it a bit slower from now on. And I think both Diepholz and Leiria might be on their last lap. No, second to last lap. So we might be expecting them finishing soon. Indeed, the last lap sign is being prepared for the Diepholz car. They are getting chased by both Regensburg and Ingolstadt. It's the last lap for Diepholz. They do hit two cones that confuse the other drivers a bit, because they are right in the middle of the track. Really cool to see the Regensburg and Ingolstadt car following each other. A few meters between them, but they do seem to have a similar pace. Also Leiria given the last lap sign.
Yeah, next car on track is the car number 68 National University of Tsinghua. Probably not pronouncing it well, but still they are out on track. Our fellow students from Taiwan.
The Diepholz car is about to finish their endurance while our cone eater Konstanz clips a few cones. Regensburg is being shown the blue flag, but not listening to it though. First of all, we'll get Diepholz in, and then I think also the last lap sign for Regensburg. And will they be shown another blue flag? No.
So we have another finisher then. We talked over it very quickly because there was a lot of action, but another finisher, which was Diepholz, I believe. And Leira as well. Wow, well done. A lot of finishes this morning. So I'm glad to see that the trend of yesterday did not continue. And we have two cars finishing just after each other. It was Diepholz and Leira.
Indeed, and so we really had bad karma yesterday, because today everything's going very smoothly in most of the cars. As I say, Darmstadt, a big spin on the last corner. Let's hope actually it's driver error and not something wrong with the car. But it seems like they are being able to get going again. I hope the yellow flags are being waved. Yes. So the 68 car will lose a bit of time. Darmstadt is still waiting before they are left on track.
Yeah, we had just a little bit of a situation that car 48, I think it was Bochum, was going slow, while Konstanz is getting the last lap sign. And also the danger situation has been cleared here just before the start-finish line. So far so good, no major incidents in that sense. And checkered flag for Regensburg for the driver change.
This car from Thessaly is so quick. I'll have a quick look at the lap times. They were doing, what is it, 82 before. Now a little bit slower, more like 88, 85. Not sure if they're being held up or just managing their energy.
New car on track, 110 from Augsburg. So they're coming thick and fast, and there's no time lost here in the endurance. And also we have, of course, a lot of cars to be had on track just before the lunch break. So this is Group A.
Bochum braking very late into the last corner, but they keep it together without too much drama.
So I'm just looking at the queue of Group A, Matthias. After Augsburg, which is the newest car out on track, we will still have 6 different cars that will be released onto the track. First of all is the other Karlsruhe car, UAS Ulm. Just waiting patiently to get into the mix of these competing cars. And looking at Konstanz, also in for the driver change.
Yes, and Ingolstadt finally got past the Darmstadt car. It was really close here behind Slingshot, but finally they got past. 77 car from Thessaly still making its way very fast across the finish line. This is now on their 14th lap. Driver is improving. This was an 84.9. And indeed we have Ulm finally joining the track. And that is a quick car, so we'll see the lap times drop for sure. I'll also get an idea of how quick
something
Augsburg
else
is.
dropped, Matthias. It's the speed of Ulm. Just in the first right-hander, they seem to be losing speed, and I think they have come to a halt in the broken chain curve just in front of the grandstand. So there we have a yellow flag situation there. Not sure what happened to Ulm, but they are still standing still, and the marshals are waving the other cars by. I think that's a good situation, not to cause an even bigger traffic jam with all these cars out on track.
car from Thessaly now catching up with Darmstadt. Will they be already given the blue flag? Not yet. So we'll have to wait one more blue zone. I think also Ingolstadt is catching up on our Taiwanese friends. So we might see an overtake there soon. Blue flag being waved for Darmstadt, and the car from Thessaly is able to pass, but we might still have our yellow flag, or I think the yellow flag situation is now solved. So Ulm has been pushed away. Bochum meanwhile overtaking Augsburg. I also see, no, not yet, Ingolstadt not yet overtaking the team from Hsinchu. Again, apologies if we butcher the name a little bit.
Yeah, it just has been confirmed on the radio. DNF car number 44 from Ulm. Very unfortunate, didn't make it past a couple of 100 meters on the endurance. They were quick on the other events, so that's really unfortunate for them. But maybe we'll see them next year. And then we have car number 48 coming in for the driver change. And still we have 7 cars active on track, but also another one coming to us. I think 2 cars simultaneously stopping just at the slalom. One of them is car of Thessaloniki, and the other one is the Taiwanese team. They've come to a halt very close after each other. And that's going to cause a problem for the Darmstadt car number 242. The marshals are waving the car by. And we have a double whammy, as we call it. 2 cars standing still in the same sector.
Yeah, we saw this yesterday as well, but luckily the car from Taiwan got going again.
Yes, and car number 43 from Konstanz also getting out of the driver change and continuing their endurance run.
I'm looking at the Thessaloniki car, which looks like it's going again, sort of. But first, the marshals are waving the car 1110 from Augsburg past, and now they are letting the car from Thessaloniki rejoin the track.
Oh no, the car from Hsinchu, Taiwan, coming to a halt here in the last corner, while UAS Darmstadt was given the last lap sign. So they are on to their last lap of the endurance. Let's see if our friends from Taiwan can get the car going again. Yellow flag zone here at the end, so Augsburg has to slow down.
And Mick, I'll just correct you a little bit. It is not from Thessaloniki, it is from Thessaly, at the University of Volos.
Sorry, then I was mistaken.
The car from Taiwan still stranded. Yellow flags being waved for car number 34 from Ingolstadt. And one more car stranded in the outfield. I'm not sure if that is Darmstadt that has come to a halt, or whether... No, it is indeed car number 242 from Darmstadt coming to a halt, and car number 43 being waved by.
That is drama for Darmstadt, because this is their last lap. Also, Ingolstadt has been shown the last lap sign. So let's pray that Darmstadt can get going again, and maybe they can very safely make it home.
It's quite a bit of drama start going on there. And car number 43 from Konstanz also now stopping just before the entry to the horseshoe. They do manage to get going again, but very, very slowly.
Yeah, a lot of drama happening at once here. Cars stopping left and right. I can see 2 teams being tended to by the marshals. Unfortunately, the Taiwanese team is still stranded, and the driver desperately trying to get the car going. In the meantime, the other teams are being waved through.
And the Darmstadt car, unfortunately, was being pushed away by the marshals outside of the hairpin on the outfield section. So unfortunately, that is a DNF for car number 242.
Weren't they on their last lap?
I believe they were, yes.
That's unfortunate, really. Half a lap away from home. The famous quote. Still we have the Taiwanese car driver making some gestures. In the meantime, Ingolstadt, we've missed that, but I think they have finished endurance. we missed actually this performance due to all the drama, but let's not forget them. They made a very good drive today. Excellent performance and finishing endurance. Well done, Ingolstadt.
The car from Taiwan does seem to be ready to get going under its own power. The marshals moving the cones to allow them to re-enter the track. But the car not moving just yet. No, unfortunately, we do see the car from Taiwan being turned off by the officials. As car number 253 from Kiel is out on the track. Mickey, do you think this is the same driver from yesterday?
I do not know. We'll see. But I also see car number 43 from Konstanz coming to a halt. Just as they entered the infield section of the track. Taiwanese car being pushed off. Deggendorf actually passing them quite fast. Yeah, a lot of sudden DNFs on track. It was hard to keep up with them. Still looking at the Konstanz car. I think the diesel light is on. So maybe let's hope, fingers crossed, that they will be able to continue. But in the meantime, there's still a double wave yellow in that zone. So that means definitely that the cars will have to slow down.
Yeah, indeed, they did manage to get going after a stop beforehand. As car number 48 from Bochum makes it out of the driver change and back onto the endurance. The car from Konstanz still not being able to move. But the T-cell light is flashing red.
Yeah, there are no other cars coming, so if the car was able to move, it would have done so by now. Yeah, the clock is ticking, the seconds are ticking away for the Konstanz car.
As car number 97 from Landshut, our next entry onto the endurance.
Yeah, it looks like the driver is reporting to the marshals, the driver from Konstanz car, that the car will not be able to restart, and the car is being pushed away by the marshals as we speak. So unfortunate for them, car number 43 from Konstanz is out of the endurance. Next car in line, the car 75 from Ravensburg. The marshals was just waiting for a little gap in between the cars. I think they will wait just after Bochum to release the car on track. This seems to be... No, they will wait another car, I believe. But yeah, there's some other cars coming behind them as well. So I think the driver from Ravensburg will have to wait just a little bit to be able to navigate the track.
And just a little FYI, the Ravensburg car will be the second to last car in the session A. We are also expecting a car from Hannover after this, and then we will be wrapping up session A of this endurance.
Yeah, we had a nice little spin of the car from 253. I think that was the Kiel car. Having quite a nice little spin, so it might be actually the same driver as yesterday, Matti.
Yeah, the team name is Race Yard, but I think the driver was Race Too Hard.
And the car from Kiel was given the blue flag to allow Deggendorf to overtake, but Kiel is staying pretty closely behind them.
Yeah, they weren't necessarily slower. It's just that they spun out of the track that allowed Deggendorf to catch up with them. Although the driver from Kiel is going at it. So yeah, the race hard is maybe also a good idea. But yeah, it looks like Deggendorf is just maintaining the lead, and Kiel desperately trying to keep in close proximity.
Yeah, two very quick cars that are right behind each other. I do feel like they have different pace at different parts on the circuit, but quite evenly matched in terms of lap time. Let's see, Deggendorf has an 82.0, Kiel a 91. That's of course because of their spin. But let's see if they can catch up with Deggendorf now.
Yeah, and a big difference in driving style as well. Deggendorf driver is smooth and calm and collected. And the Kiel driver is just a little bit more aggressive and out of control. So that means that he will gain some time in certain parts and lose some time in other parts of the track. So your observation is spot on, Matthias. So we have Leibniz University Hannover. Again, confusing because there are two different names for the same car. But I think it looks like that's the last car of the morning session of the endurance. So after this we will have, as soon as Leibniz Hannover has finished the endurance and all the other cars obviously, then we will have a break and we will continue the endurance with the B group later on. But still we have a lot of action before all these cars have finished in some way or form. Let's hope they all finish the endurance, which means that it will take another half an hour roughly for them to complete. And also, yeah, car number 110, I think that's Augsburg, getting the last lap sign for the driver change.
Nice, and Kiel managed to overtake Deggendorf somewhere on the circuit, and then here at the very end also overtaking Bochum. So let's see if Kiel can now make a bit of a gap between them and Deggendorf, but indeed massive difference in driving style between the two.
Yeah, now we see the Deggendorf driver pushing a lot harder and taking a lot more risks. So we have a proper race on our hands between Kiel and Deggendorf. And nice to see these German teams battling out on track. Oh, look, that was a bit of a slide, Matthias.
Yeah, we should call it the cone skipping scheme because it just went straight through. What car was that?
97 from Landshut.
Yeah, completely locked up, going straight through cone killer chicane. And Kiel now caught up with Augsburg. And they'll have to wait at the slingshot before they can overtake, so we'll get a little traffic jam again.
But I think one of the cars will be getting the checkered flag. Can we check which one that is?
That might get confusing because then one car will slow down a little.
It should be the checkered flag for Augsburg to come into the driver change.
Let's hope this all goes well and safe.
Yeah, perfect. Well done by these drivers. Very professional way of handling it. And now the battle continues on track. Kiel putting the hammer down, but closely followed by Deggendorf. That's actually quite a nice race to follow. So the people in the grandstand can see these cars battling it out. I think that organizers are very good, are very wise not to give them the blue flag and letting them battle it out a little bit on track. Really nice competition and a lot of action.
Yeah, we already had a few of these combos of two cars following each other closely at more or less the same speed. Sevilla is also joining us. So might have been out of order, but they can still join in this session. We thought we had the last car already, but there are still a few that will join.
Yeah, the same goes for Bath. They were here before, but couldn't get the car started, so they were pushed back. So after, it looks like...
Hannover. Stopping on the finish line, giving the sign that the car lost all power, shaking of the head. Drama for Leibniz Uni Hannover. It was such a beautiful car, but it stopped at the finish line. A lot of people running around, dangerous situation.
Just looking at the running order, Sevilla were indeed supposed to start a little bit earlier on in the session, and now they will be starting at the end.
Yeah, that was a hairy situation because the Leibniz Hannover car actually stopped in the worst possible way, and also still confused the car from Bochum, but the driver was remaining quite calm and actually said, okay guys, you need to tell me what to do and I will do it. Fortunately that situation got resolved quite quickly, but it was well, a hairy moment for a while.
Yeah, and actually hope it all went well with the timing equipment, because the car was parked just on the timing line, so I really hope they triggered correctly for Hannover and Kiel, which sometimes might be a challenge. Sevilla joining the track and on their way for the first stint on the endurance.
And another small drama for Bath, because I could see them being ready to join the endurance, but unfortunately the team is pushing the car back again.
Maybe they didn't get it to charge or start. And of course, if you are in line, you need to be ready.
Yeah, now we seem to have the checkered flag for Deggendorf for the driver change. I already saw a gap between Kiel and Deggendorf in our proper battle, but it also has to do probably with the driver coming into the driver change as well. And we have 110 from Augsburg completed the driver change and back onto the track. Oh, and I see a little bit of the drama developing. UAS Landshut, car number 97, coming to a halt just before the slalom section. So there's another yellow flag being waved there for Sevilla, just behind them. Yeah, looks like Sevilla has noticed and got off the throttle in a safe way. Same goes for Kiel, just a little bit faster. This Kiel driver is really pushing that car, isn't he?
Yeah, and they are catching Sevilla at a rapid pace. Let's hope that Sevilla gets a blue flag in time, then no car loses a lot of time, but unfortunately no blue flag.
Yeah, we have Magdeburg coming out of nowhere onto the track. We kind of missed that. They snuck up on us. But there's so much action going on track that we sometimes miss a little bit. Last lap sign for Kiel. Almost losing it while powering through and overtaking Sevilla. That was so wild. A little bit unnecessary, but we don't know how the car reacts, obviously, with throttle input. But man, that driver from Kiel is something else.
Yeah, Magdeburg indeed rejoining out of order, and there are a couple of more cars that will be joining out of order later on. So still quite a bit of action to come before the break.
It looks like the meatball flag is being prepared for one of the cars. Just going to look which car. I think that was intended for the stricken car of Landshut 97, so that might not be necessary at the moment.
Kiel now catching up on Magdeburg, and they will be looking to overtake them after slingshot, but first navigating the yellow zone carefully.
There seem to be some issues with the Augsburg car. It was accelerating quite a bit by the end of the first driver's stint. Now going considerably slower, nearly 25 seconds off of their pre-driver change pace. So hopefully they will be able to finish still.
And unfortunately, car number 97, Landshut, has a confirmed DNF, and the car has been pushed out of the way. Too bad for them. They weren't in the endurance that long, but unfortunately never managed to restart the car.
And across the finish goes Kiel, and I think this is for their driver change. And so this was the first driver. I'm very curious to see if the second driver has a similar driving style. And I think something's wrong with the Sevilla car, because it's rotating very weirdly. Clipping a few cones, so let's hope they don't have any issues. Indeed, you identified it already in the lap times, but Augsburg is definitely slower than they were before. This is something we do often see with these electric cars that... oh no, and before I continue on my story, Sevilla has come to the halt before the big grandstands.
Yeah, we already noticed something wrong with the Sevilla car as well, because it, you mentioned it rotated a bit weird, or not exactly sure what's going on. But looking at the marshals, they are having a conversation with the driver. Yeah, the driver is telling the marshals that he's trying to restart the car, but so far without any success.
Augsburg passing us, nicely lifting and coasting before going into the corner, so definitely saving some energy there.
And we have two cars in the driver change at the moment, Deggendorf and Kiel. They were having a bit of a shootout on the track before, and let's see once they rejoin whether they do it once again.
Yeah, the sensible thing would be to split them a bit further, but for the show it would be nice if we can see them close behind each other again. Magdeburg still going strong. They have chosen for a solid but steady pace. And I do see a last lap sign being prepared for, that might be Ravensburg, and I think they're heading towards their driver change then.
Yeah, and while the Sevilla car is still experiencing some difficulties, another Spanish team joins us on the track, car number 79 from Barcelona.
Yeah, and looking just at the queue, we see a couple of cars running out of order. I think that's car number 284 from Toronto, our Canadian...
And Bochum completing the endurance. Let's see if I'm not too preemptive. This is their 18th lap, right?
Yeah, there must be. We've been... that's correct.
Indeed, correct.
Yes,
yeah. So
well done.
Congratulations to
And quite
Bochum.
an impressive pace, considering lacking any aerodynamic devices on the car. Really, really impressive. And as we can tell from here, I think the Sevilla car is being pushed off. And I think I hear on the radio that's a confirmed DNF for Sevilla. Unfortunately, they are out of the endurance.
Well, Ravensburg caught up behind our new car, the Barcelona car. It will take them behind the pendulum. They will only be able to overtake the Barcelona car, unfortunately. So they will lose a bit of time. And I think this is also their final lap before the driver change.
Yeah, Deggendorf being held for quite a bit now, but now setting off on their second half of the endurance. And Kiel also lining up at the start line to rejoin. Let's see how the two of them compare in their second drivers.
So actually, guys, looking at the situation now, we have quite a high number of finishers already. We started out a little bit slow with a number of DNFs, but after that, a lot of teams managed to complete endurance, which is actually quite impressive, especially considering the slaughter we witnessed yesterday during the autocross. So I'm actually quite impressed.
Yes, and Ravensburg has two more corners to go, and across the line. This is the endurance for their first driver, and they will now be heading towards the driver change area. Deggendorf approaching the Magdeburg car fast, and they will definitely catch up with them before the overtake zone here in front of Slingshot. Augsburg is still going steady. Definitely found their pace, looking to bring the car home. Actually, I was relatively confident that Deggendorf would catch up, but they just do in time. Blue flag for Magdeburg, and both cars will not lose too much time by this, so well navigated. And away they go again. Augsburg now preparing an overtake on the Barcelona car. They are on the back, close to the grandstands, doing the little hairpin now, on their way to Pendulum. And luckily for Augsburg, there's a blue zone after that.
And we have the car 253 from Kiel coming back onto track after a successful driver change. Let's see how well they can do on the second part of the endurance.
And Augsburg passed the Barcelona car now. And very quickly approaching is the 41 from Deggendorf, who will again have to do another overtake. this time on Barcelona, but it will take them a few corners before they get there. Interestingly, Deggendorf and Barcelona choosing a different way into the slalom, so they were kind of out of phase. And then now I'm curious, the Barcelona car has received the blue flag, but will they also let Magdeburg pass? Who is quite a bit behind, but let's see, I think they will. Hope the Barcelona car notices it, yes. Oof.
Yes, and that's good marshalling by one of the marshals there at the end of the overtaking zone, because he noticed that there's another car coming just behind them, and he kept the Barcelona car just long enough for Magdeburg to pass. So good marshalling there.
This looks a bit cleaner for Kiel, although it is still quite aggressive. I guess that car just has a lot of torque and little control. Let's see how their times progress. For this driver it was an 84 immediately, but their best was an 81.5.
Yes, we have another new car at the line, car number 284 from Toronto.
Deggendorf meanwhile overtaking Augsburg, and I think now they do have a clear track in front of them, so let's hope they can get a few laps in without needing to overtake some cars, because that does cost a bit of time. Kiel stuck behind Barcelona now, but Barcelona have been given the blue flag, and away they go. Also Kiel now has a bit of clear air in front of them.
Yes, and we have Ravensburg back from the driver change, just waiting for a gap in between the cars. I think the marshal will let them go just not after Augsburg, but I think after car number 20, which is the car for Magdeburg. Yeah, I think there they go. Ravensburg back on track for the second part of endurance. Yeah, and Matti, we talked about the driving style of the Kiel drivers. Yeah, they maybe they're clones, I don't know, but definitely the same driving style. Maybe it's car-induced, but maybe it's driver-induced. So, yeah, it's still spectacular looking. Not very fast, but it's spectacular.
Ravensburg now stuck behind Magdeburg for just a second. I just had a quick check on the commentary form, and I think this driver from Magdeburg is Daniel Zenst, driving this car as quick as he or she can. He can, of course, Daniel. That's the guy. Car from UMD. Now closely being followed by Kiel, so also Kiel will probably be looking to overtake them relatively soon.
Yes, Matthias, just to add to that, we obviously don't know exactly which driver is in the car, so maybe we say a he while it's a she, or the other way around, but that's something we unfortunately we don't always know. We can't tell with all the helmets and clothing on, so here we go. Blue flag for Augsburg, closely followed by Ravensburg and also Kiel, and also I think even Magdeburg. Oh yeah, that's also good marshalling. Well done by the marshal, letting 3 cars past without losing too much time. So well done.
Yeah, and Magdeburg actually going quite quickly, not quite matching the speed from Kiel and Deggendorf, but on its own they are going at a relatively quickly pace. Car from Toronto locking up here in the last corner, but luckily no off-track or no cones, while Kiel is flying past the Ravensburg car now. Will Ravensburg now be able to keep up just a little bit with them? Let's find out in the coming corners. Ravensburg really doing their best to keep up with Kiel, but losing ground just a little bit.
Yeah, and it seems we're missing a car in action just on the far side of the north of the Ravenel curve. Can't make out which car that is.
Could be Magdeburg.
Magdeburg. It does have the same livery, so the piece of the wing I can see from here. So it looks like they have some kind of issue on track.
Augsburg been shown the last lap sign, so fingers crossed that they can wrap up this final lap and bring it home. We have a new traffic jam forming behind the Barcelona car. I think both Kiel and Ravensburg are stuck for a moment. There is a blue zone after this corner, so and then again Ravensburg has another shot to try and follow Kiel closely.
Looks like we have another car coming up to the track, which is University of Bremen. These are all cars running out of order. And behind them, I still see another valiant attempt from Bath. And still we have two other cars in the queue. Iago is indicating to me.
Indeed, car number 240 and car number 66. Car number 66 is Nuremberg and car number 240 is TU Darmstadt.
Well, so if all the teams are continuing to perform this well, it will be a long day, you guys, because it's amazing how many cars are still driving and finishing. Talking about finishing, I see one of the marshals getting the checkered flag, and it will be a double checkered flag for one of the cars coming up.
I believe that will be for Augsburg. They're just making their way around the horseshoe and going into the slingshot. Augsburg now navigating the last few corners. Slow and steady throughout the second half, but they do finish, crossing the line. Congratulations, Augsburg.
Oh, and it looks like Toronto is being given the meatball flag. Something's afoot with that car. The scrutineers will have a look at it. Yegor, you will check?
Yes, indeed.
And I do finally see Bath rolling towards the starting line. So we will hopefully see them on track. Oh, and look how close Kiel and Ravensburg are. Ooh, Kiel now given the blue flag, interestingly. I think Kiel might now again be able to catch up with Ravensburg again, but we'll see.
Kiel always finds some adversary on track to do a proper battle with. We will see the Kiel driver starting to push, but I think the Ravensburg car is just a little bit too quick for this team. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. And yeah, there we have it. University of Bath, arguably best UK team, out on track.
This is probably Ivan that is currently driving, and after Ivan, Axel will go for it. Apparently they have three modes of their cars. Potato cannon, machine gun and missiles. And they want to do a shout out to Lisboa and Eindhoven for helping us save their brake issues. But also to all teams because everyone's so nice.
And we have a new car on track, Darmstadt, TU Darmstadt. So not UAS, but TU Darmstadt, car number 240. Also joining the endurance frenzy. And also the driver change from Toronto, or not, wasn't the driver change, it was a meatball. But in the end, it looks like the scrutineers were happy with what they saw. And they are sending Toronto out on track. And we have a very close situation with the Deggendorf car just closely followed by the Ravensburg car and again followed by Kiel. The Ravensburg car was really close to the Deggendorf car. A little bit too close for comfort, but then in the end everything was okay.
And I just had a word with the officials about car number 284, which is rejoining the track. Apparently, some officials thought that their brake light was constantly on, which is why they got the meatball flag. having a conversation with the driver said that apparently they were just resting their foot on it as they were driving. So the marshals will be taking a bit of a closer look now to make sure there's no difficulties. And 284 will be allowed to rejoin.
It has already rejoined just now, and it's just as you mentioned it, I was looking at the car and it was going on and off again, the brake light. So probably the not the most comfortable car, and having to rest your foot on the brake is not ideal. But there you go, it's still driving around. So we have a proper traffic jam with 4 cars out on track, just behind the University of Bremen, that is, I think, which has just joined the track. And the Ravensburg car should really mind the gap, because they're really close to the Bremen car, and accidents do happen that way. But yeah, it's passed, and also closely followed by Kiel, almost losing control. Ravensburg, Kiel getting the last lap sign, and Deggendorf, I think that's finishing endurance, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Well done by Deggendorf. They had really strong pace at the very beginning, seemingly managing a bit of energy and temperatures nearing the end, but very quick endurance by them.
Yeah, there's so much going on that sometimes we almost miss it, but we caught it on time due to the battle between Kiel and Ravensburg. But Kiel is on the last lap, although the driver sometimes was a little bit erratic. And again, we are surprised with a new car on track, car number 66 from Nuremberg.
And the car from TU Darmstadt wants to do a little shout out to their colleagues from UAS Darmstadt, because apparently they helped them a lot with their chassis. And apparently there was a guy from the TU Darmstadt that the other Darmstadt called Appelbaum, and they found it really funny, so from now on everyone calls him Appelbaum. And I really like the Ravensburg and Kiel battle out here. Does look like...
Yeah, but Kiel is finishing endurance, so the battle was short but spectacular. Very well done by Kiel. Spectacular driving. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed the battle with Ravensburg, and before that with the other cars. Well done, Kiel.
And looking at the queue, I believe this will be it for the morning session. Finally, we will get a little chance to have a break as well, gather our thoughts, collect our bearings for the second half. Matti, what are you seeing out on track in the meanwhile?
Yeah, did we already tell that the Nuremberg car joined on track? We did, so I missed it. That's one I see now. I also see the car from TU Darmstadt catching up with the Barcelona car. Luckily there's a blue zone coming up, and other than that, looks like all the cars have relatively clean air in front of them, so let's see what they are capable of setting in terms of lap times. Last lap sign for Barcelona. Is this for their driver change? It is. Bremen coming to a halt in the infield section just after the S's. Took a few cones. Oh, the driver is even getting out, so that must indicate some kind of electrical terminal issue. Yellow flags in the S-curve. Toronto needing to slow down just a little bit.
It's actually a suspension failure. The marshals saw it and reported it on the radio. So unfortunately, the Bremen car has suffered, well, one of the very few mechanical failures. We were just discussing this with Jegor, is that the amount of mechanical suspension failures is very low this year in endurance so far. So it's unfortunate for Bremen, but they will not be allowed to continue, obviously, and they can't. Now the marshals will try to safely get the car out of the way without damaging it even further.
TU Darmstadt has 2 cones on its wing, still carrying them with, already for almost half a lap, so they might be able to carry it for the entire endurance. Yeah, the cones seem to be really nicely stuck in a few of the components, so let's see how long they can take that with them. Meanwhile, the Bremen car is already on the trolleys, so they are being pushed away. And across the finish line goes Ravensburg. This is their endurance.
Indeed, they complete the endurance. Congratulations, car number 75. And right behind them, car number 79 from Barcelona coming in for the driver change. As the car from Bremen is unfortunately wheeled away, missing a front wheel.
Yeah, you might say that's a suspension failure. Not sure what happened there, but now we know why the driver got out immediately.
I think Toronto will be shown the last lap sign. At least it's being prepared here. And that will be for the driver change then, I presume.
Right you are, Matu. Completing lap number 8 and going into lap number 9, Toronto.
Yeah, and the missing tire from Bremen is inside the cockpit, so I believe that the marshals have put it in for transportation. So, but it was loose, so maybe the very simple answer is that it just came loose on the bolts or something, and yeah, that's why they had to put it in the cockpit.
Darmstadt, meanwhile, still, I think, carrying the cone. The rear ring says cooked. Apparently, their season is not quite going as planned, but they're trying to make the best of it for this event. So far, so good. They're participating in the endurance and still going strong. Nuremberg, meanwhile, starting to catch up on Toronto, so we might see an overtake anytime soon, unless it already happened. A little bit less action now. We have 4 cars on track. One, I think, Barcelona in the pit for their driver change. And there is a bit of a distance in between laps. Darmstadt still carrying the codes. For how long will they be able to carry them with them? Checkered flag for Toronto, and they are in for their driver change.
And also the scrutineers are noticing some smelly stuff. We noticed something as well. So one of the head scrutineers, Kevin, was coming out to the track to smell, and they were smelling the air just after Bath passed by. These are not combustion cars, so anything burning is either rubber or batteries normally.
Or the brakes. If they use a lot of mechanical brakes, you could also get some smell, but indeed it's very weird. I also smelled it. And I cannot quite figure out which car. We think it's Bath. Let's have another closer look when they pass by.
Maybe
or a closer smell.
Maybe it needs to take a bath.
Yeah, that was a Bath joke.
Did it bother you, Mickey?
Not in the slightest, Yegor. Anyway, we have 3 active cars now on track, and looking at the driver change area, we have 2 of them in the driver change. So Barcelona is the first one being ready. Yeah, looks like they completed the driver change procedure. And Kevin, we have still have Kevin on track smelling the cars. It looks very, very funny, but let's try to see what's going on.
BAF now stuck behind Nuremberg for a second. Nuremberg given the blue flag, and they are able to make their way past. Nice and clean overtake. That will give them plenty of free space to continue on their endurance. I think Darmstadt now collected a few more cones. Let's see how many they have collected right now. I think it's 3. Shape of the front wing, losing one of the cones again, so it's still about 2 or 3 cones that they are driving with.
And back from driver change, University of Toronto, car 284 for the second part of endurance.
Oh no, now the Nuremberg car is getting past the BAF again, and BAF been given the last lap sign as we speak. This is of course a bit double if you just pass them and then you get the blue flag again. That's the way it is. 4 cones currently on the front wing of Darmstadt, and they're all stuck crazy.
Wow, that must be a new record or something. Most amount of cone kilometers per endurance. Cone kilometers, is that a thing?
That's definitely a unit, yes. I'm not sure if it's already SI approved, but indeed that might give them a special award. I think they can remove those cones during the driver change, although, just for the show of it, it might be cool to leave them on.
Maybe just they want to take them home as a souvenir, but they're cooked anyway, so why not? In the meantime, Barcelona slowly but steadily completing another lap. We have 5 cars on track, and I think just one more. No, nothing in the driver change area. So this is it. These are the cars that will have to finish the endurance for us, or in order to complete the Group A of the morning session. It's already 12 o'clock, so it takes quite a while, but it's also a good sign because that means that a lot of cars are able to finish endurance. And we have the checkered flag coming out for the BAF car to do the driver change. Yes, very spectacular, double waved checkered flag action. And also the same things goes for Darmstadt, losing 1 cone in the process.
Unfortunately, the cones are being removed from the Darmstadt car, and so they'll have a fresh start. Let's see how many cones the second driver can collect. Right, just after the announcement, returning to our commentary. A few cars being shown the last lap sign. I think it's mostly for some driver changes that are about to happen. The car from Nuremberg is on their final lap, and I think that is about it, because Darmstadt and BAF are currently still in the driver changing area. Toronto, meanwhile, on their 12th lap. Barcelona on their 13th lap. And then who else do we have here on track? Yeah, so currently 3 drivers active on track and 2 in the pits. Checkered flag being prepared. This is for the Nuremberg car. The flagman has to navigate this situation, and he does so very well, and the drivers understand. So this was the first stint of Nuremberg, and they will be in 3 minutes on the way for their second stint. TU Darmstadt back on their way with a new and fresh driver, and also with reduced weight because they lost 4 cones during their driver change. They seem to have a certain design in their front wing that is very good at hitting and collecting cones. Blue flag for Barcelona as Toronto goes by. And way to go.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the driver change of Nuremberg. Second driver is in the car. Looks like scrutineers are doing a look as well. Just feeling a little bit, just making sure everything's okay, no leaks are found. That should be the final driver change of the morning group, of Group A. Just to remind everybody, we will have a small break, lunch break, just after these cars have finished endurance. And then we will continue with the faster group of the autocross, which is Group B. And please make sure you are back in time for that, because that should be very interesting indeed. This was already a very interesting morning session so far, with a very high percentage of finishers. And we will do a little bit of calculations to let you know how high the percentage actually is, because well, I was impressed, and I'm not easily impressed. So, in the meantime, yeah, US Nuremberg coming back to the line. Car number 66. I think clear track, so should be able to go.
PAF now passing the Barcelona car. And the Barcelona car has been going very steady. They had some issues with other dynamic events, but they are now actually going very smoothly and steadily across the endurance. So fingers crossed that they can keep up the same pace throughout the whole endurance. They are being chased by, I think, the Darmstadt car. So they might be going into the blue zone anytime soon. PAF now chasing, I should say, Toronto. I do have a feeling that PAF is just a bit quicker, so they're looking to make an overtake somewhere in the next lap.
In my mind, Toronto was a bit faster earlier on. I was looking at them and they were quite fast. I'm not sure whether the driver is just managing the car and bringing it home, which might make sense if you have limited power on board. But not sure what exactly the situation is and how many laps did the Toronto car already finish. I think they have completed the 14th lap, so that means that they have 4 more left to go. So still quite a while to go.
Darmstadt already with the overtake on Barcelona, that is. And now also PAF going past Toronto already. So yeah, they're PAF definitely quite a bit quicker than Toronto at this stage. But coming to a halt is Nuremberg.
Oh, no.
Here at the very end of their, what is it, 10th or 11th lap?
Yeah, it doesn't look good. T-sol light is off. The driver pulled over just to make sure it wasn't blocking the track. So the T-sol light is active again. So I'm not sure whether the car, well, driver's saying, yep, I'm ready to go. And the marshals are releasing the car. So Nuremberg back on track, losing some time obviously, but it's better than not going at all. So let's hope they found the magic and can keep continuing.
Yeah, car got discharged at some point, but driver was looking quite confident in just taking it calmly, restarting the car and get going again. So well done by them.
Makes me think it wasn't the first time this happened to this car.
No, indeed, because he very calmly just went next to the road, did the actions he had to do, and back on their way. Indeed, not their first time. Darmstadt still without any cones. I think the driver is really managing the energy right now.
You almost sound surprised, Matthias. Darmstadt still without any cones on the front wing. What's going on?
Yeah, in the previous run, really collecting more and more and more. Unfortunately, the scrutineers removed the cones again, and now they are bringing it home. And so is Barcelona, who is keeping a steady pace around this endurance track. Let's see in what lap they are. That is, this is their 16th lap, so they need to do 2 more before finishing the endurance.
Yeah, indeed, both Toronto and Barcelona on their laps number 16. Bath and Darmstadt both on lap 30, and Nuremberg on lap 11. So a couple more laps to go in the morning session.
When Darmstadt is seemingly approaching Toronto. Again, we get an overtake on track, which I always like to see. Let's see if Darmstadt manages to catch up with them around slingshot, because there's a blue zone here. If not, no worries, because also here, just in front of all the people, there's also another blue overtaking zone. And the blue flag is being given to Toronto. I think it's well in time, and that usually means that none of the 2 drivers really lose any time, because also the Toronto car can just more or less keep their speed on the blue zone and continue on their way.
Well, a couple of these electric cars sound a bit funky while passing our position here, but well, so far so good. The odd smell every now and then, and the funky sounds every now and then as well. The occasional stoppages, but still, cars are going strong.
Yeah, we still don't know where that smell came from or which car left it behind, but it didn't reappear again, so let's assume it was nothing.
Well, we all do know that teams make long hours and they don't always take a shower when they should have, but I'm not sure whether that was the cause of all the funky smells. Also nice to hear the enthusiasm from the grandstands every time a car passes by, either cheering the team on or just wishing for them to finish endurance. But so far, all these teams are doing a great job. Very high finishing rate so far, and yeah, nothing too crazy today, this morning. So yeah, looking good.
And Toronto actually catching back up with Darmstadt. Darmstadt does did an overtake on Toronto, but seems like Toronto did find some pace again. And they are on their way for their last lap sign, and they get rewarded for it by getting a last overtake on Darmstadt.
Can I give you a little bit of speculation? I think the Toronto driver was saving battery for a couple of laps, and now being on the final lap, looking at probably at some kind of battery energy meter they have on board, he's like, okay, let's give it everything, put every piece of battery power I have onto the tarmac and finish this endurance strong. That's why the pace has increased again.
Yeah, because it's really gapping the Darmstadt car now. Huge advantage from Toronto, I should say. I wanted to say Trondheim almost, the Toronto car. Meanwhile, BAF overtaking Barcelona, and Barcelona being shown the last lap sign, and driver with a thumbs up, and the driver does look happy that finally he's on his way on the last lap.
Yeah, Barcelona is one of the cars that was driving ever so slowly but surely towards the end of the endurance. So usually under the radar, we haven't seen them. I think it's Nuremberg coming to a standstill in the Ravenhof curve.
Let's hope they can do their trick again and get the car going, and they do. So they seem to have some kind of known issue. The driver definitely knows how to solve it or reset it, and unfortunately again coming to a halt is the Nuremberg car.
And there we have it, Toronto finishing endurance all the way from Canada, making it across the ocean to compete in Formula Student Germany, arguably the highest level of competition, and finishing endurance is a great achievement from this team. Well done, great effort.
Nuremberg now still coming to a halt, starting again, stopping and starting again. Let's hope they can get a more permanent fix for this issue. I think they are ready to go again. Maybe the driver can approach it slightly different now and get the car home. But no, it's slowing down again. Oh, this is really sad for the Nuremberg car. And I think Barcelona is a few corners away from wrapping up the endurance. The whole team is coming toward us, I think. 2 more corners to go. And we will get a big cheer. And across the finish line is the car 79 from Barcelona. And the crowd is going absolutely nuts.
Well, not the crowd, but the whole team, and they're making so much noise that you would see that it's the whole crowd.
Yeah, the fence was barely holding on.
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations to them. They managed to finish endurance at
Great job,
FSG.
Barcelona. Well done.
Car number 240 from Darmstadt crossing the line for lap 16, now on lap 17, the penultimate. And what is the situation with the car from Nuremberg, Martin? Can they manage to keep going?
Yeah, they start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. They already had a little break here before, but the driver managed to restart. This time, it does seem that the problem got worse, and I think already 4 times the car stopped again.
Latest information is that the driver is still trying. In the meantime, BAF is getting the last lap sign of the endurance. Let's hope Nuremberg can continue.
You were talking, Mickey, earlier about the relatively high finishing rate. At the moment, it is 23 cars DNFing and 20 cars finishing. We have 3 cars left out on track, so if all of them finish, it'll be an exact 50-50 split.
We've had worse in the past, for sure. And let's keep in mind, these are all cars that have had some gremlins. Well, most of the cars have had some gremlins or some issues last couple of days. So if we do manage to do the 50%, or even without those 3, getting towards the 50% is already quite an achievement, and a lot better than I had anticipated up front.
Last lap sign being prepared for the 240 car from TU Darmstadt. They're looking, I feel like the driver's speeding up a little bit from Darmstadt. He was definitely saving some energy at the beginning, but now pushing just a bit harder. And then BAF is only a few corners away from wrapping up their endurance here. Slingshot up next, and then we have this little tight chicane at the end. Really making the way. And across the finish line goes BAF, congratulations to them. Also, they do a very clean endurance run here at FSG.
And it has been confirmed, Bath is arguably the best UK team here at FSG.
Yeah, I think the Nuremberg driver is now out of the car, so that will be a DNF for them, unfortunately.
It is indeed a confirmed DNF for Nuremberg, and now car number 240, Darmstadt, the last vehicle on track, but they are on their last lap, so let's wait for them to complete the last few corners.
Slicks.
So Matthias almost choking on that little gummy bear, but there we have it. The car from TU Darmstadt finishing endurance. And if you listen just very, very carefully, you might hear some cheering from the grandstand. But you have to listen very carefully. And I'm just kidding. A huge cheer from the TU Darmstadt team. Well done, guys. Another finisher. This is amazing.
Yeah, that's it for the morning session here at Hockenheimring. Just to give a rundown of the top few times, we've had Trondheim with 14:78, Kiel with 15:66, and Pforzheim with 16:07. And we will see how the second half, or rather the second third, of the competitors will do in the afternoon session. See you back very, very soon.